everyone. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. I'm TC Wardell. My partner, Eddie Alcaraz, will be joining us in just a few moments. Coming to you live from the campus of Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California, where the defending San Diego Section Division V champions, the Christian High Patriots, play host to their East County rivals, the Sultans of Santana High. So let's first talk about the Christian Patriot team. The Patriots enter this game with a 1-0 record after rolling over Linfield Christian from the Southern Section last Friday night, 49-0. Christian was led by a junior quarterback, Michael Carrillo, who tossed 3 touchdown passes, as well as an opportunistic special teams unit that created 3 turnovers. Now, there were a lot of questions surrounding this team in the offseason with the loss of 14 key starters from last year's title team due to graduation. But after last week's dominant performance, it appears that Christian has picked up where they left off from last season. Now, on the other side of the ball is Santana, and they limp into this game after taking it on the chin last week in their season opener against West Hills in their annual Battle of Santee. The Sultans are coming off a breakthrough season last year in which they won 11 games and earned a trip to the Division IV championship. But 2012 will present some challenges to a program that is breaking in a new head coach and has lost 28 seniors to graduation. So the question comes to mind is, if there are enough bullets left in the holster to keep pace with this high-octane Patriot offense. We will see tonight here from El Cajon, California. A perfect evening. As we prepare for the national anthem, the captains are at midfield for the coin toss as the Christian High Band prepares for their performance. We'll be back in just a few moments for the kickoff here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California. TC Wardell for PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. It is week number 2 in the San Diego section as the host Christian Patriots with a 1-0 record taking on East County rival Santana High. Santana, actually, Christian won the toss, and they will be receiving to the south, defending the south goal line. And ready to boot it away for the Sultans is Dylan English. Santana with a 0-1 record going into tonight's game after taking on the chin last week against West Hills. And we are underway from Granite Hills High School. Kickoff taken down at the 2-yard line. Picked up by Sauls across the 20, the 25-yard line, and stacked up at about the 27, finally brought down by a host of Sultans. And Christian and quarterback Michael Correa will take over on their first possession of the game with 11:51 left to go in this first quarter. And welcome, Mr. Alcaraz. A little late start.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here to a beautiful night from Granite Hills High School. And what a difference a season makes as we go into this 2012 season.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about both these teams and last year and jumping into this year. Right now, 1st and 10, first play of the game for Christian. Motion across the formation. They fake the jet sweep. They go right up the middle with Owens. Owens cuts back to the left side, makes a move at the 45 and brought down at the 46-yard line. Quick start for Christian. Owens, their top rusher, came back after a 1,400-yard season last year.
I tell you, covering most of the games last year here for Christian, all the way through the pretty much one for the legends, if you would, last year's final. Rayvon Owens. Got to know this kid last year, and I tell you right now, it looks like he's picking up right where he left off.
Well, Christian, after a 49-0 victory over Linfield, Christian last week, looking stellar here on 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line. Looking to throw, it's Carrillo. He's going down the right sideline. Carrillo takes a pop in the backfield, overthrows his intended receiver, Philip George. George last week with a number of catches and a touchdown grab. As Carrillo was our PlayOn Sports Player of the Game last week with 3 touchdown tosses. And I'll tell you, Eddie, the real question over the offseason was who would replace Shane Dillon, their 3,000-yard passer. The big question over the offseason. I think Carrillo's answered a few questions on that already.
Well, he's shown that he's got the toughness to stand in the pocket and take a hit. Unfortunately, unable to connect with the receiver. Here we go with 2nd down.
And they're going to run right up the gut this time with Owens. Owens not finding a whole lot of room to navigate. Picks up maybe 2 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and long for Christian.
And one of the Jekyll and Hydes that we did see with this offense last year was they went where Owens went. He got off to a slow start. The whole team got off to a slow start, even with pretty much the all-city quarterback that they had. But going in a year more mature with a championship under his belt now, let's see what he unleashes here tonight.
3rd and 8 for Christian from their own 47-yard line. Carrillo under center sends George over to the right side. Tight end set, play action rolling to his right, under heavy pressure. He just gets rid of it. And whoa, if that was complete, a heck of a catch by Sauls, but it's going to be well short of a 1st down, but absolutely draped by defenders. Sauls finds a way to come up with the catch, but the Sultans defense holds tight. Now on 4th down last week, Christian decided to go for it on a few occasions. Let's see what they do here, but it looks like the punting unit is going to come on the field.
Well, heck of a catch there by Sauls. And just a host of characters that come back for this offense. Well, that actually are two-way players, Owens and Sauls. Some of these guys pretty much know the routine here.
Punt is away. It's a knuckleballer and a good one. Driving the receiver back. He's going to call a fair catch at the 16-yard line, and that is where Santana will take over. 1st and 10 with 10 minutes left to go in the first quarter. No score here from Granite Hills High.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. Games and activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So Santana High, their first possession of the game. 10:06 left to go in the first quarter. As quarterback Gabe Cruz, 6'4", 175 seniors, that's under center. They go with a wide set, 2 receivers to the far side. Short motion to the right. Looking back, heavy rush coming, and now you're going to see a holding call there. Pass incomplete, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Corey Connor. But that was on the rush was Zane Kaufman, who had 2 sacks last week. He was absolutely pinned down by a Sultan's lineman, and that's going to be holding against Santana.
And there's another name that you mentioned there, Zane Kaufman. Last year, he filled in pretty much everywhere where they needed him. The athleticism that this Patriots team has on the whole, not just on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, they're a really athletic team. I've yet to see Santana, so this is my first view of them, but not a good start here with this holding call on first down.
Last year, Santana 11-2 and went to the title game, the Division IV game. But this year, with some big losses, they're going to try to right up the middle and not a lot of room as the big blue swarms all over him for maybe a 2-yard gain. And just catching back at what I was saying earlier, Santana had a real breakthrough season last year. Finished 11-2, made it all the way to the title game at Qualcomm Stadium, lost, of course, to Valley Center. But they have lost 24 seniors from last year's squad. Now that's a lot to lose, and add to that, they've got breaking in a new head coach. So some rebuilding going on here at Santana High. As they start from the gun formation on 2nd and 10. Looking downfield is Cruz. Cruz has a man, and oh, that one nearly intercepted by Owens. As it looks like the quarterback and the intended receiver on the play, Sadiq Abdulaziz, not on the same page, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 from deep in their own territory. Sultan's in a little bit of trouble here early.
Well, it seems like the Patriots' defense is looking to put the pressure on. They're not going to let up, as they were forced to punt on their first possession, and there the receiver looked to the near side, then decided to go a little bit over the middle. And I'll tell you right now, the secondary for the Patriots, you got to watch out. These two-way players, especially Owens, getting his hands on that ball.
This time Cruz is going to go in the delay, drop the middle. There is absolutely nowhere to go. Crushed at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring up 4th down. The Patriot defense holding tight. And as you were saying, Eddie, you're going to see a few two-way players here on this Patriot football team. They're not a very deep squad, but they have quite a bit of talent. As the punter for the Sultan standing in the middle of his own end zone, slow snap, but gets it away. Nice high kick. Fair catch called at the 38-yard line. Christian will take over an outstanding field position at the Sultan 38 with 8:53 left to go in the first quarter. No score between Christian and Santana.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us on PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action you see every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
T.C. Wardell alongside my partner, Eddie Alcaraz from Granite Hills High School. First quarter, 8:53 left to go. Christian taking on the Sultans of Santana. Christian with a football at the 38-yard line of Santana. Quick slant, caught at the 30-yard line, and nearly dropped, but then received by Kai Arvan. Arvan bobbled the ball during mid-run and was able to receive it again. Heck of a throw by Carrillo to drill that right on the slant.
Well, you got to get Arvan credit right there, because that was a bullet. Came straight to him, and either he was going to catch it or it was going to take a piece of him going away. Able to hold on and pick up a 1st down here for the Patriots, as the right there, the wide receiver able to hold on.
1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Driving into the Christian. This time is deep again to the corner. What a catch by George down at the 2-yard line. Carrillo goes down deep to the right corner, and George hauls one in 2 yards from the goal line, and Christian in business.
And that's reminiscent of what you were going to see from last season, just those one-on-one matchups that the Christian quarterback last year was able to just take full advantage of. There, an athletic play by George, and he's one of several guys on this offense that can make those type of plays. 1st
and goal, Carrillo going right over the top on the quarterback sneak. He is going to be just shy of the goal line. I haven't seen a call yet for a touchdown.
And as we wait, it looks like the side judge is kind of done with the play.
Somebody's kind of indecisive here, because I haven't seen a touchdown call, but the crowd's kind of waiting too. Everyone's kind of on pins and needles here. But evidently, Christian with the score on the 2-yard quarterback plunge by Michael Carrillo makes it 6-0.
I tell you, we're going to go ahead and take the cue from the band that was a touchdown.
Yep.
As we're going for the extra point here. What a difference a drive makes from the first one to the second one here.
Maybe we have replacement refs like the NFL here tonight. Low snap and a bad one. The kick is up, and it is good. A great job by the holder. That's Zach Hoffman to bring down that bad snap. And it's a quick 7-0 lead for Christian with 8:20 left to go in the first quarter.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
And we welcome you to Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California. PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. TC Wardell alongside my partner, Fast Eddie Alcaraz. 8:20 left to go in the first quarter, and Christian strikes first thanks to a 2-yard touchdown quarterback plunge by Michael Carrillo. And Christian kind of picking up where they left off last year as defending Division V champions. A lot of off-season questions if they had enough firepower left after losing 14 starters from that championship team. Evidently, some of those questions have been answered.
And quite quickly here in the first quarter of this ball game.
And they really rolled over an overmatched Linfield Christian team last week, 49-0, and even I don't think that score was even indicative of how close it wasn't. As we prep to kick this one away, Mason Powell, the junior kicker for Christian, setting up, ready to kick it away to Ryan Browning. And this one's going to go out of bounds. And Sultans will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35, I believe.
And just as at any level, any kickoff that goes out of bounds, you can punt it out of bounds if you like, if you want to keep it away from the punt returner. But here on the kickoff return, you're going to get penalized, and you're going to give the incoming offense a great place to start. And I tell you what, the Sultans are going to need it as the Patriots strike quickly here in this game.
Quarterback Gabe Cruz for the Sultans needs to get his offense going. And they struggled last week, losing 47-14 to West Hills in the annual Battle of Santee. Again, 28 key players lost to graduation for the Santana team this year. They got some rebuilding to do as they have the ball 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Cruz under center, 3 receivers set to the far side, 1 solo right. They're going to sweep this to the heavy side, and a lot of blue jerseys there ready to meet the running back for maybe a 1-yard gain. Great read by the outside linebackers for Christian to stop that rush.
And there, one of the names that I'm guaranteeing we're going to call a lot tonight is Trenton Sauls, number 20, the linebacker, the junior, able to get in there and chase down the running back for a minimal gain.
Trenton Sauls had a great game on the offensive side of the ball last week. 2 touchdowns, 1 running, 1 passing. 2nd and 9 from the 36-yard line. Cruz in the gun formation, looking to throw deep down the right side. Well covered, and the ball is received and caught. And it's 10-5 touchdown. No flags on the play as the defender and the receiver just battling for the ball. The defender for Christian just fell. And I can't get the number from this angle for who actually made the nice catch and run.
Well, I'll tell you, it's uncanny, or it's uncharacteristic for the player. Philip George saw the ball; it was hanging up there, and he pretty much set up and looking at a jump ball there. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving going on, no call, and we're an extra point away from this game being tied.
Boy, I got to see who made that catch. An unbelievable grab, and a stunned Christian crowd as the Sultans, just like that, on a 64-yard touchdown connection from Cruz to, I believe, I'm not sure if Dakota Harp. It's hard to see. He ran to the sideline so quickly. And they have evened up the score 7 apiece with 7:37 left to go. I mean, everybody here is stunned. I'm a little tongue-tied at how quickly that happened. It was good defense on the part of George. Just a great play and pass on the part of Sultans to even up the score.
Well, there, George, like I said, Cruz laid one up for his receiver. He had one-on-one coverage with George out there on the corner, playing the corner for the Patriots. They set up like if it was going to be for a jump, kind of a jump ball out there. And as I mentioned, a little pushing and shoving. The refs are letting it happen.
Absolutely.
As George ended up on the turf and the receiver ended up in the end zone.
I think that probably could have gone either way, both violent, and so it was probably a good no call on the part of the officials as both players fighting for the football. And George not particularly happy with himself right now as he sits back at the 5-yard line ready to return this kick.
And I will say this, having covered George extensively last season, he could very easily on this next play put Christian back on top.
Oh, no question about it. Some dangerous return men for this Christian Patriots team. Last week, Rayvon Owens ran one back 95 yards to open the second half. So a lot of speed on this Patriot team as the kickoff is wobbly. Bounce at the 5. George is going to pick it up at the 3. Deep in the corner, going to try to find some room down the sidelines. Makes a nice return to the 28-yard line. 25-yard return by George. as the Christian offense back on the field with 7:30 left to go in the first quarter. We are knotted up at 7 apiece.
Do you want to watch more of your high school's great matchups, like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast System. This program allows your schools to broadcast all of their games and activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So Christian with the football at their own 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Michael Carrillo under center, sends 2 receivers, rather he's going to send 3 receivers off to the right. Tight end left. Looking back to throw, 3-step drop, going down that right sideline again. Has a man and just underthrows his intended receiver. That's Paris Miller, who had good coverage on the play that time by Owen Brown of the Sultans.
And there, just as on the previous drive that set up the touchdown for Christian, one-on-one coverage. He did have pressure coming from his blind side there, but Carrillo able to step into the pass and just a little bit off. But being a new quarterback, but with the weapons that are at his disposal, it shouldn't take long for him to kind of get in sync there.
Another interesting thing, I'm sorry, Eddie, if I cut you off, I apologize. They being Christian, lost 3 of their top 4 receivers to graduation, and this is an outstanding crew they have out here, so they're just reloading for the 2012 season. It's Carrillo back to throw, 4-step drop, over to the top, man wide open, that's Sauls at the 35, and run across midfield, dragging people with them, and across the 40 to the 38-yard line, and Trenton Sauls is fired up for this Christian football team. Oh, he is a load to bring down.
I tell you, and last year, this guy stepped in. He was a reserve for this team last year. This year, he's going to get a big share of that limelight. And there, not only did he drag 3 Sultans with him, he pretty much ran over another Patriot that was helping to lead the way there.
Trenton Sauls with 2 touchdowns last week on a 25-yard touchdown catch and a 25-yard touchdown run. Continuing the pace tonight. 1st and 10 into Sultan territory at the 38-yard line. Carrillo under center. 2 receivers far side. Inside counter to Sauls. Sauls takes 2 men to bring him down, but a good job by the right side of the defensive line of the Sultans to stop him at about the line of scrimmage.
Well, there, just to kind of shake things up, going with a counter with the guy who got him down into Sultan's territory. Sauls unable to shake those tacklers.
Trenton Sauls, I got him listed at 6'1", 220, and he's just a junior, folks. We'll be hearing about him next year as well.
He plays more like 6'4", at least 250.
2nd and 10 for the Christian at the 38-yard line. The Sultans back to throw, looking for the screen pass, has his man. That's Kaufman at the 35, the 30, got some blockers in front of him, and he's sprinting to the 10-5, touchdown! Kaufman on the screen pass by Carrillo, and a great convoy of blockers upfield. Runs almost untouched. 38 yards for the score, and Christian regains the lead, 13-7 with 6:17 left to go in the first.
And I tell you what, not to take anything away from Santana, but right there, they made it look easy. The Christian offense did, and this is the type of team they can do this up and down the field. If you want to get into a track meet with them, they definitely got the guns to do it. They can play well on defense as well, as you know, they're coming off a championship season, as they stopped a good team last year in order to win that championship.
Powell's extra point attempt is a 9-iron that goes high and good. Nice chip shot there. Going to replace his divot at about the 10-yard line. And it's 14-7 Christian with 6:17 left to go in the first quarter.
And I'll tell you what, it was a bit of a wobbler there. Looked like it might have got winged on the way up. But needless to say, it puts Christian back up by 7. And getting back to the point of the track meet, this is definitely we're going to be able to see what type of team the Sultans are, because I don't think there are going to be many teams that Christian is going to match up with this season that is going to have the athleticism that they do.
It's an interesting point you bring up, as Christian has moved from the Coastal League, which is just one of the toughest Division V leagues in the entire state, over to the Central League. And not to downgrade the Central League any, it might be a little easier path this year during league play for this Christian team, having made that move. And honestly, one of the concerns was, did they have enough firepower in the offseason after so much attrition to graduation? Do they have enough players moving up into the varsity ranks, moving up into starting positions? And after last week's shellacking and the way they're playing coming out this week, boy, they look very impressive, as if they haven't even skipped a beat from last year. The kickoff is a pooch, and they got away with this great last week. Picked up at the 25-yard line on the fly up to the 40-yard line. There's one man to beat if he gets a block. Cross midfield to the 40, And finally brought down at the 33-yard line. A great return by Ryan Browning of the Santana. He had a kickoff return last week that went 90 yards. A dangerous return, man, and we have a flag on the field. And I'll tell you, last week Christian got away with a number of chip shot kickoffs where they actually recovered 3 times just last week the ball, where the defender was just waiting for it. And it looks like the Sultans are going to get caught for an illegal block. It's going to march them back a few yards and negate an outstanding return by Browning.
Well, you still got to like the field position that they are going to start in, as they're marching it off. Even if it ends up in midfield, you still got to like this.
Browning caught that ball on the fly at the 25-yard line and just shot upfield. Credit to his special teams unit for the blocking they provided him.
Well, while they were there, as he was able to pretty much outrun everybody he had in a white jersey.
So it'll be Santana with the ball right at midfield. In fact, they'll put it right at the 49-yard line of Christian. Cruz under center, 2 receivers set to the right, now a third as he drops back to pass on the screen to the right. Good blocking and picked up and spun down for a 4-yard gain. On the play was Jareth Raymond. And a nice blocking on the part of Sultans on that play to get Raymond some room to operate.
And Jareth Raymond is going to be one of the key components for this Sultan offense, in addition to the kid that set him up there, Tyler Browning.
Second and a long 6 from the 46-yard line of Christian. 5:32 left to go in the first quarter. Christian with a 14-7 lead. Sultans with the ball. A nice comeback route to the 40. Almost escaped the defender and works his way close to a first down. He might be just inches short as Browning stretched forward, and it looks like they're going to move the chains as Browning, with that extra effort, gets the first down for Santana.
And just as the running backs offensive coordinator are going to tell you, wide receiver coaches, keep your feet moving, keep your feet moving. A lot of these kids are still learning the art of the tackle, even in the college ranks. Here, tackled a little high, his legs kept moving, got his team a fresh set of downs.
First and 10 from the 39-yard line. Christian with a high screen pass. And not a whole lot of room there as Robert Schonk, the 5'11 senior for the Sultans, trying to find some room on that wide receiver screen. Actually, he's not going to get anything. Good job by the left side of the defense of Christian to keep him in check.
And from our angle here, it looked at had he gotten any yardage, it was going to be minimal, as he was kind of tackled forward there, but they're going to give him nothing.
Second and 10 from the 39-yard line of Christian. Santana trailing by 7, 14-7 in the gun formations. Cruz looking to his right, looks over the middle, has a man, and hit immediately and gets away, almost gets away from a second person down to the 28-yard line. Robert Schonk again, the receiver. That was a gutsy catch in traffic, and that's going to move the chains some more for the Sultans as this offense is starting to roll a little bit, Eddie.
And I'll tell you what, this weather is perfect to hang things out to dry. Not your receivers, but we were sitting here looking at it right now, and that was a car wreck, if you would, waiting to happen. He didn't take the brunt of the injury there, as he was able to kind of keep his feet up, move a little bit forward, and pick up an extra yard.
Credo of any good receiver, don't worry about the hit, just catch the ball. You're going to get hit anyway. You might as well bring the ball down with you. First and 10, and movement all over the line of scrimmage, both sides dancing. And it may be a legal procedure this time against the Sultans. And that is the call on the field.
That is the call, as the offense kind of taking a few steps back. And this isn't the type of the game plan against Christian with anybody should be try to stay as flawless as you could if you can. So far we've seen a couple of penalties here on the opening or the kickoff to start this drive, drove them back, and here on this play after they pick up the first down, they're moved a little bit backwards.
Well, in first and 15, they're going to spread it out with 2 receivers either side. Raymond in the backfield. Raymond gets the call on the draw, goes right up the gut, powers by one man, runs over another across the 20, close to the 15-yard line. Jareth Raymond just wreaking havoc on the draw play, knocking blue jerseys down all over the place. And a first down deep into Christian territory at the 16-yard line.
And there we're able to see their version, if you would, of Trenton Sauls. On the Sultan side, as he took the ball, went straight up the middle. There was nothing pretty about that, as he was just knocking blue jerseys over.
Look out for Mr. Raymond. Ball's going to be set at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for Sultans on this drive. 3:42 left to go in the first quarter. Browning in short motion. They're going to go with the inside counter. Actually, it's a pitch pass from Browning. Browning, and broken up by Owens. A little trickeration by the Sultans. It was going to be Browning to Browning, and Owens in the end zone able to make up the distance and deflect the ball. And it'll be incomplete, bringing up 2nd down and 10. Great defensive effort.
And where he may not necessarily play the cornerback position traditionally as you would like it played, there the athleticism kicks into play as he was able to make up the yardage and knock that ball away.
Great closing speed by Rayvon Owens from the safety position. Brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 17-yard line of Christian. Sultans on the attack. 2 receivers set far side. Back to throw on the screen. It's a high pass. No, you're going to get a receiver killed doing that, as Browning was probably fortunate not to make that catch and let it fall incomplete because he had absolutely nowhere to go.
And I tell you, Browning stretched with all he had to try to reach up and get that ball, and he left that midsection wide open. And if you're a defensive player, anytime you can lay a lick, you're going to take full advantage of it if you can.
Oh, it's all you can eat ribs night when you see that.
And I tell you right now, that makes you a hero in the film room afterwards, the ball game. That play just luckily falls incomplete without anybody losing any ribs.
Oh. So 3rd and 10, Cruz under center. 2 receivers far side, Browning solo right. They're going to give it to the big man, Raymond, and this time he is met rudely at the line of scrimmage by a host of blue jerseys. And the Christian defense stiffens, forcing a 4th down, and I am going to assume, and I should never assume, that the field goal unit will be coming on the field for the Sultans.
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to, as the Patriots defense tightened up here, doesn't look like they're going to be able to tie it up on this shot, but they're going to definitely look to chip into that lead.
It'll be a 35-yard field goal attempt by Dylan English. Ball's placed at the left hash mark. High snap brought down well. English with plenty of leg on it. Up, and it is good. And that ball had a real hook to it. So the Sultans, after an outstanding drive, are thwarted at the 17-yard line. They have to settle for 3 as they trail Christian 14-10 with 2:47 left to go in the first quarter.
I'll tell you what, Dylan, true to his last name, threw a little English on that as he was able to pick up 3 for the Sultans offense. So PlayOnSports.com is not your only destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school football playoff championships, pretty much in any event across the country. PlayOnSports.com, your place for high school sports, and it lives here.
T.C. Wardell alongside Eddie Alcaraz from Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California. An absolutely perfect night. Just a little bit of a breeze coming from the west coming across here. The temperature probably in the high 60s right now. Very mild conditions. Couldn't ask for any better, I tell you, for a Friday night. As the Sultans have tightened the score here, 14-10. Christian with the lead. And Santana, I tell you, looking a little better than I had anticipated to see them tonight after so much loss to attrition and graduation this summer. Actually showing a little bit of firepower here. A lot of talent with both the Browning boys at the receiver position, and Cruz definitely showing off his arm this evening.
Well, they're definitely not showing any signs of intimidation as they're facing the Division V 2011 champs. But this is 2012, a whole new season.
As the kick brought down to the 5-yard line, that'll be George to pick it up. Looking to follow his blocking. George showing some speed already and tripped up at about the 25-yard line. He is upset because he saw a huge alley to his left. But shoestring tackle down to about the 26, and Christian brings the Patriot offense back on the field with 2:41 left to go in the first.
And that's one of the treats, not only for being able to call the ball game here, but for anybody who decided to come out and watch this game, whether you're for or against the Patriots. Anytime there's a punt or a kick return in the San Diego County at the high school level, I'd be willing to put my money on these guys at one going back, or at least close to it in any ball game that they play.
Now, they're always dangerous on the kickoff and punt returns. They've got a number of weapons in the special teams game. As Carrillo drops back on 1st and 10, looking to throw down the right side, has a man. That's George at the 50, dropped. And he is furious with himself as Carrillo threw a strike right between 2 defenders, and the ball falling in the hip pocket of George, and George unable to hold on to it. Bring up 2nd and 10. George having a little bit of trouble here tonight with the hands.
Just a little bit. We can't blame it on the humidity. We can't blame it on anything, as you had mentioned. Great weather here and there. You couldn't have dropped it any better. into the receiver's hands is what we looked as he was looking to turn upfield. That ball goes popping out, and that's just a long incompletion.
Beautiful pass by Carrillo. Had a tremendous night last Friday in the season opener. As Rayvon Owens finds an opening and cuts up the middle. Now he's looking to come back to the right and gets across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Boy, he squirted through just a crevice of a hole and shot through to the second wave, and once he gets going, he's tough to stop.
He was into that secondary, and that was Sean Padberg, number 8. If he doesn't make that stop,
he's still running.
Owens, yeah, is definitely right now at this point lining up for an extra point.
Yeah. So 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line. Carrillo sends 2 receivers to the far side. Owens a sole setback. That's George solo left. He's going to go to George again. George wide open, but Carrillo this time just overthrows him. A good job by the defender at the line of scrimmage, Corey Connor, to hold up George just for a moment to prevent the rhythm and timing on that pass pattern.
And there's one thing that Carrillo's showing me right now so far. He's staying in the pocket. They're putting really good pressure on him. The front 4 is definitely getting the best of the front 5 of the Patriots. There, let his receiver just a little bit, like you said, held him up. The defender did to the receiver. Just let him a little bit there, and it's going to bring up 2nd down here for the Patriots.
George goes solo right, 2 receivers to the left. Carrillo under center. Carrillo with an outstanding game last week, 201 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Looking back on the 5-step drop, he's looking left all the way, has a man over the middle, and just overthrows his intended receiver, Kai Arvath. That was a hot dog, and Arvath had a tough time even getting his hands near the football. Carrillo threw a frozen rope that fell incomplete, bringing up 3rd down.
And right there, he might have blinked, because that's the only way he would have missed that kind of pass. And with the kind of arm that Carrillo's showing back there, you got to think if they're able to get a little bit better protection up front, this is going to be a great night. He might surpass last week's numbers.
So 3rd and 10, ball set at the 46-yard line of Christian. 2:10 left to go in the first quarter. Basic setup, slow response this time. Heavy pressure, going to do the throwback screen to Owens. He's got it on the left side. He's got plenty of green grass in front of him to the 30, 25, cuts back inside across the 20-yard line. And a great play call by Christian. They know that rush has been coming hard. They said, we're going to negate that rush, throw that screen to our running back in the flat, and give the ball to Owens, and he just makes a track meet out of it.
They waited. The pass was a little bit low. Owens was able to go down and get it. As you had mentioned, just green right in front of him. And when he was finally stopped, it looked like bowling pins just knocking off in front of him. The 7-10 split waiting for him here as they've got a 1st down.
Well executed screenplay. Owens picks up 20 on the play. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Sultans. Carrillo looking down the flats again, and this time throws behind Kai Arvan, who had one-on-one coverage with Connor. Carrillo just a little behind the receiver on that play.
He's able to get into the paws of receiver if he's able to have gotten the ball into the receiver there. One-on-one coverage, just on a slant, he was able to, if he would have caught it, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Doesn't matter, it was an incomplete. Let's move on.
2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line of the Sultans. 1:46 left to go in the first quarter. 2 tight end set. Draw play up the middle, just stopped cold in the backfield. Outstanding read by the inside linebackers of the Sultans, one of which I don't have a number for.
And the other one there is a name we've already called, Sean Padberg. Stayed home, actually got penetration there, got into the backfield, and did something very rare. He stopped the running backs of the Patriots here, and that's not an easy task.
Great read by the Patriots interior defense, not fooled at all by the draw play. Loss of 2, 3rd down and 12 from the 22-yard line of the Sultans. Set with a 2 tight end set. They've been the motion on the jet sweep, looking for some room, and again dropped in the backfield. And now a late flag, and that's maybe a horse collar, as the helmet of running back Paris Miller comes flying off on the tackle. And the Sultans, after a great defensive play, are going to give it all back.
And that was the linebacker, Kevin Brady, there. A little aggressive on trying to find out what was underneath that helmet. Knocked it off.
Brady with a great read and play. He's the defensive captain of the Sultans defense. We had Miller dead or right in the backfield, but ripping his helmet off is a no-no, and that's going to cost him 15 yards. And I believe it'll be an automatic 1st down for Christian.
And so far, the early theme for the Sultans as a team on the whole there has been good play, something to kind of take away from it. Good play, something to kind of take away from it. And at any level, it doesn't matter. penalties are going to kill you. You got to steer clear of them. And there, I wouldn't necessarily say it was maybe more of the momentum of the play kind of took the running back out of the helmet there.
Well, Brady's got to set the tone for the Sultans defense. It won't be an automatic first down. It'll be 3rd and 7 from the 17-yard line. Movement across the line of scrimmage, and it looked like Sultans jumped over the neutral zone. That is defensive end James Parr, who got a little over anxious. And that's the second penalty in a row, and that's going to march off another 5 yards.
I don't know if it was necessarily the prior play that they were able to get that penetration. It's got the blood pumping here for the Sultans defense, or the fact that they're only down by 4, which is kind of surprising here.
30 seconds left to go in the first quarter, and flags everywhere. Officials stop play. And this time looks like Christian's going to be called for illegal procedure. That's 3 consecutive penalties on these 2 teams. We may never get out of this first quarter.
Well, I tell you, as we're doing the field position cha-cha here, hopefully we can get a playoff. There's still plenty of football there.
Oh, yeah, we're still in the first. Just 28 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. It's 14-10 Christian, and Christian looking to score again if they have the ball. 3rd and 7 from the Sultans' 17-yard line. It's Carrillo. They go heavy to the right side. Miller in motion across the formation. This time they're going to give it on the stretch play to the right to Owens, and Owens powers across the 15-yard line where he is hit hard by inside linebacker Sheldon Payne.
And there, Carrillo trying to throw off the Sultans defense as he sent a man in motion to the far side. They weren't biting. Owens wasn't able to pick up the kind of yards they were looking to on that play.
Well, 4th and 4 now, and they're going to talk about it as we end quarter number 1 here from Granite Hills High School. Christian High, the defending Division V champions, with a 14-10 lead over Santana as we enter quarter number 2.
Accurate Underground and Grading and owner Mike Tobiasen have been serving the San Diego and surrounding communities for over 30 years. Our services include grading, custom house pads, water and sewer lines, underground utilities, roads, fire hydrants, horse arenas, brush clearing, and much more. Please contact Mike at 760-789-8792 or visit his website at accurateundergroundandgrading.com. Be sure to spell out the word, and I will for you, ACCUNDERGRANDGrading.com.
And bingo was his name. Oh.
There you go. I tell you, it was worth a spelling and worth giving Mike a call if you need any of those services that I did mention.
Okay, as we start quarter number 2 here from Granite Hills High School, we thank you for joining us on PlayOnSports.com. Christian High with a 14-10 lead, looking to add on with the ball. 4th and 4 from the 15-yard line. They're going for it, and we're not putting the field goal unit on the field now as they're looking to try to get them to go off sides, and I believe they might have. A good job by striking the cadence by quarterback Michael Carrillo, and it's going to be a legal procedure against Christian. So it worked to the opposite and not to the benefit of Christian, and now I believe we will see the field goal unit come on the field.
And I tell you, when you set a booby trap like that, everybody in the stadium knows exactly what you're doing. You're not supposed to have it get called on you. There, Christian making the mistake. It looks like they're going to settle for 3.
They will. Mason Powell jogging onto the field, the 5'11", 160 junior for Christian. Looking to boot this one up front. His field goal attempt will be from 36 yards away. Ball placed on the right hash mark, just about where he would want it. The right footer ready for the kick. Don't be surprised if they do something crazy here. Christian's got a great special teams. Bad snap. Good job to bring the ball down. It is going to be a close call. It looks like it's going to be a bit short. It is. So Powell unable to connect from 36 yards. The Sultans hold and trail 14-10 to Christian with 11:55 left to go until the break.
And there, you shoot yourself in the foot. They would have been in a position. He just was a hair underneath the goalpost there. Would have added 3 to their lead. Unfortunately, they had the false start. It moved them back just out of the range of the kicker on that particular play anyway. And it keeps them from putting points on the board as the Sultans take over.
So opportunity now for Santana, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. That's Cruz, the 6'4" quarterback. Went the wrong way. We may have a broken play here. He's getting pressure from the backside as he rolls out to the right. And a smart move just to get rid of that football. He went to play action to the left. There was nobody there to hand the ball or fake the ball off to. And rolls to his right and just got rid of it, knowing it looked like it was a broken play from the start.
And there, what would have been a play action to the left ended up becoming running for your life to the right.
Yeah, it's not in their playbook.
Not in the playbook, but if you're a good quarterback, it's definitely in your mental playbook, as he was able to get out of the pocket, avoid the rush, and get the ball away out of bounds.
2nd and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Cruz with 2 flankers to him, 1 man in the backfield. Inside counter play. Had an opening quickly, but that was closed by the inside linebackers, and then of course Mr. Kaufman was there to help on the tackle.
I tell you, at halftime I would not be surprised to see Kaufman up here selling popcorn or working at the snack bar. Even in last season, going into this season, he's a pretty much a handyman for this team, holding for kicks, running back kicks. I've seen him throw a pass, I've seen him catch a pass and run one in.
He's only a junior. They have a lot of talented juniors on this team, especially for one that's lost so many seniors last year. So 3rd and 9. As Cruz goes into the gun formation, running back at his right hip pocket. Receivers set to either side. They're going to run the slant. And that one's broken up and nearly intercepted by defensive back Trevor Howell. Great play to break up the pass. Nearly came down with it.
And I tell you, Corey Connor, the intended receiver there, was a bang-bang play. Receiver, cornerback, ball meeting at the same time. And the ball ends up on the turf.
Tremendous one-on-one coverage by Howell. And Howell will be standing at midfield ready to return this punt, as the Christian defense forces a 3 and out. Tough snap, and it's going to be a low knuckleball kick. It's going to take a great bounce for Sultans. Now, this isn't a great bounce. This is an unbelievable bounce and roll for the Sultans. This ball went all the way to the 20-yard line of Christian. Holy cow, that is a...
There, the kicker had to kind of come up for the snap as it was coming down. He kind of bobbled it there, was able to get off what in baseball terms would have been a line drive up the middle, and the ball rolling all the way back to the 20.
So that's a 20-yard punt with a 30-yard roll.
But I tell you what, in the stat book, when all is said and done, it shows up as a 50-yard punt.
That helps his average and no return. So that helps his net average. But Christian, the Patriots offense back on the field. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. 10:53 left to go in the second quarter. The Patriots hold a 14-10 lead over Santana. Carrillo under center, sends 2 receivers to the far side. Looking to go in the wide receiver screen, has it, but a low pass as Miller unable to bring that in. And falls incomplete out of bounds.
And there, Carrillo just looking to kind of sidearm that ball out to his receiver.
Getting a little bit of pressure right up the middle from the Santana defensive line. So I think he's starting to feel it a little bit and rushing his pass.
And up to that point, for the most part, he's been pretty good. Kind of staying in there, despite the sea of white shirts that have been consistently in the backfield for the Sultans.
This is a step up in competition from last week, Linfield Christian. Sultans got 7 men on the line of scrimmage. They're going man-to-man. Carrillo drops back to throw. Under heavy pressure, gets rid of it, and the ball falls incomplete, and that's going to be pass interference against the Sultans. Ooh, close call. I guess I could see and understand why, but linebacker on the coverage was Brandon Patterson trying to cover Miller, and that one, I don't know if that was a catchable ball or not, Eddie.
Well, it was, like you said, it was a close call there, but anytime you're going to get somebody coming out of the backfield having to match up with the linebacker with clear field in front of him, some might argue it, but I would say maybe it was a good play. You kind of keep the guy from catching the ball because there was nobody behind him in the secondary that would have been able to stop number 24.
Well, the Sultans put about 8 in the box and went man-to-man on that play, and they were going to risk it and go man and let their linebackers take those slot receivers. But the risk pays off for Christian as they have the ball now, 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. 10:46 left to go in the second quarter, and Christian holding a 4-point lead. 2 receivers set to the far side. Carrillo looking back to pass under heavy pressure from the right, just gets rid of it as he was decked at the 20-yard line by the Sultans outside linebacker, Mark Yeager. And he came in absolutely untouched, and Carrillo could feel him from the moment. And really, Carrillo having some troubles on the last 2 drives as the Sultans are really starting to put the pressure on now.
And there, the linebacker went untouched, timed the snap, was able to get back into Carrillo's face almost immediately. And the smart play there, he one-hops, not only the linebacker covering his running back coming out of the backfield, but his running back as well.
Well, this time they're not bringing the house. It's 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Carrillo under center. Hand off the time to Owens off the right side, and not a whole lot of running room for Owens. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Rather, that was Sauls on the carry. And the big man able to get maybe a yard on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 9. And suddenly, in this quarter, Sultan's starting to show a lot of defense.
They're definitely answering the challenge of this Christian offense. But I tell you, both defenses it seems so far here in the second quarter, Jekyll and Hyde from the first, where we had 24 points.
Now they're both unyielding. That's 3rd and 9 from the 36-yard line. And officials calling timeout on the field. And as one of the officials shakes the hand of the center.
I tell you, you got to like good sportsmanship all the way around here in this ballgame.
And jogging off the field for Christian is the center, Chris Jones. And it might be looks like he has an open wound maybe, and they got some blood showing. That looks like possible. They're going to get that fixed. So we have a timeout on the field with 10:06 left to go until halftime. It is Christian 14, Santana 10.
And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and talk about Accurate Underground and Grading.
All right,
and owner Mike Tobiasen. He's been serving San Diego and the surrounding communities for the past 30 years. Services include grading, custom house.
We can get a player up here.
Ah, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So you can find out how Accurate can serve you today.
PlayOnsports.com, your destination for high school sports. Coming at you live from Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California. TC Wardell alongside my partner, Fast Eddie Alcaraz. 10:06 left to go in the second quarter as Christian holding a 14-10 lead over Santana. Facing a 3rd and 9 from their own 36-yard line. As both defenses over the past few drives have really stiffened up. And it's gone from an offensive onslaught to what has become more of a defensive game over the past 10-15 minutes. As Carrillo looking to find a way to get a first down for his Patriot football team. 2 receivers set to the far side. Back to throw on the wide receiver screen and threw well behind Miller. And right now, Carrillo, from his quarterback position, he's really struggling. And I'm not sure if it's just the pressure or he's just out of sync in this particular quarter.
And there, he looked all the way over to the left side, almost the entire play from the snap. And that ball was nowhere close to the receiver. And luckily, it was thrown behind him, behind the line of scrimmage. As the ball ended up out of bounds, they maintained possession, but just long enough to go ahead and get a punt off to the Sultans.
So I believe that'll be Arven sitting back at his own 17-yard line, ready to kick this away for Christian. The ever dangerous Tyler Browning rather, for the Sultans standing at his own 30-yard line. He ran one back 90 yards last week, and this one nearly blocked a high kick, end over ends. That's going out of bounds. And we'll see where the officials are going to mark this one. Either way, the Sultans are going to get outstanding field position. As the official continues to walk up, and they're going to place this ball at the 47-yard line of Santana, where the Sultans offense will take over. 9:55 left to go in the second quarter. 14-10 Christian.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to your great highlights. Follow us on Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. And you can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube, or access YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
So trailing by 4, the Sultans to Santana. 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. 9:55 left to go until the break. As the officials move a football off the field and get it replaced. Remember that Eddie Alcaraz is also on Facebook and Twitter. For those of you football fans here, as Cruz is going to throw this one in the flat, and that one nearly intercepted by George as the receiver for the Sultans shot upfield. And you can tell there was a definite miscommunication between Cruz and his wideout, Sean Padrag, on that particular play. Boy, George almost came up with a freebie.
And I tell you right now, he hasn't shown it so far in this ball game, but that definitely would have been a great opportunity for George to step up, make the catch, and he had Green all in front of him.
So 2nd and 10 now. Cruz dodges a bullet in the gun formation, looking down to his left, has a man on the slot, got him. And down, pick up about 8 on the play is Robert Schonk. And that's the kind of good play. Kind of take what the defense is giving them. They're getting a lot of cushion from the corners of Christian, and they'll take that 7-8 yard play every time.
And they're on the stop with the sophomore, Trevor Howell, the defensive back. And I tell you, kind of the style here of the quarterback, he's kind of shot putting some of these throws there, a la Phillip Rivers. But he's definitely getting the completions.
Nearly as tall as Rivers at 6'4", 175. Again in the gun formation, 3rd and 4. Firing to a man in the middle, has him at the 40-yard line. That's Browning. Look at him run. He's down the left sideline, and a great tackle on the play. Well, I believe that was Hoffman.
That was Trevor Howell.
Howell on the tackle. Stopped Browning, but Browning cruises down to the 31-yard line of Christian, where the Sultans will have the ball 1st and 10 with 9:37 left to go until a half.
And there, if Howell doesn't come up with a play, there was definitely more yardage to be had by Browning, who's definitely making his presence felt here in this second quarter as the go-to guy.
So Browning goes wide right, 2 receivers. Play action, no, that's going to be a draw to right up the gut, and nowhere to go that time is Jareth Raymond, the big running back for the Sultans, as the right side of the Christian defense there to make the stop.
And just as Carrillo seems to be out of sync here on the offense for the Patriots, it's Cruz that's stepping up and kind of guiding this Sultans offense down the field. They've got a good mix of, aside from that first incomplete there, he's got a couple of completes under his belt, and they're minimal yardage on 1st down.
So 2nd and 11 from the 32. Cruz in the gun formation, looking left. He's going to throw left, going deep to his receiver. And actually a pretty good pass, even though it falls incomplete. As that ball was either his receiver was going to catch it or the defender was, and it was great coverage on the play. Once again, calling out the name for Trevor Howell. And they're really picking on Howell on that left side right now.
And the last 3 pass plays going Howell's way. And he's definitely risen to the challenge there. And as you said there, it was just a track meet to the end zone. And whoever would have came up with that catch, it would have been a heck of a catch.
Jacob Porras in the game for Christian. They have their nickel package. Back to throw again is Cruz. Cruz looking on the slant to Browning, and Browning is just draped by George. Makes a nice catch, but well short of a 1st down.
Well, there, George stride for stride with the receiver coming back over the middle. Allowed him to make the catch, and as you'd said, the Sultans are pretty much just trying to take what they're being given. But there, it's going to come up short.
And that'll bring up a 4th and 6 from the 27-yard line. And when it looks like they are going to go for it, rather no, not going for it. They're going to make an attempt at a 45-yard field goal on the right leg of Dylan English. This is a bit of a kick. English has got the leg blocked at the line of scrimmage. It's a loose ball at the 40. Somebody better jump on it, and Christian does. And of course, it's Hoffman who gets the ball. Great penetration by the interior defensive line of Christian to block that field goal attempt.
And one of the guys in on the block, Jacob Porras, number 5 there, the senior linebacker, that ball bounced around. The guys on the field didn't seem to see where it had bounced. Had they picking that up, they had a good clear shot to the end zone. Doesn't matter though, as they're starting near the 45-yard line, and the momentum definitely swinging their way here.
Special teams starting to play a factor in this one. 1st and 10 for Christian at their own 44. Looking for a play, and that might have been a misdirection in the backfield. Owens just slaughtered back at the 40-yard line. Loss of 4 on the play. And I tell you, defense for this Sultans team really waking up.
And what could have definitely kind of turned the tide there for them, where the Sultans said, well, we've got this field goal blocked. And definitely, as I just mentioned, the momentum, there was no slippage as they were able to get Owens in the backfield for a loss.
So loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13 from the 41-yard line of Christian. 7:27 left to go until halftime. Christian holding a 4-point lead. 3 receivers set to the far side. Carrillo looking to that right. Looks to the flat. And some incidental contact. No, they're not going to call it incidental. They're going to call it pass interference against the Sultans. And that is a really tough call on a pass that I'm not sure could have been completed.
And there, Corey Connor's the one that's going to get called for it, as he's kind of throwing his hands up, trying to plead his case. And I do got to agree with you. I'm not necessarily sure if that was a catchable ball, but the referees on the field tend to differ with us up here in the box.
Well, we know better than the men on the field. There's no question about it. But we have to go with the guys in stripes.
I tell you, we have to respect the fact that they're down there. So, but if they ever want to make a call up, we're definitely available to offer our advice, our 2 cents, if you would.
So, in a bit of a bailout move, the officials are going to give Christian an opportunity here to put the ball into Sultan's territory on the pass interference call against Santana. 7:17 left to go until halftime. And Christian with a 14-10 lead. And now the football at the Sultan's 44. As quickly on the ball go the Christian Patriots.
I tell you, the leading rusher so far in this ball game has been the referee.
Yeah. Been a lot of work in. Christian, 3 receivers far side. Carrillo stays under center, rolls to his right, going to throw back left. And that one nearly intercepted by Santana as linebacker Brandon Patterson, and we've been calling his name quite a bit tonight, nearly intercepted that ball in the screen pass. Saul was completely draped by the man, and Carrillo again throwing a bad pass that could have been picked off and gone for 6 the other way.
And there the defender had a good shot at getting that ball, and he was double covered by the offense. But he had the best shot at getting that play.
I think Christian has gotten a little too vanilla and with their play calling, and they're starting to get a little predictable. I think they're time to dig into the bag of tricks a little bit more and mix in the play calling, because right now Santana is reading everything they do in the passing game.
I tell you, this offense is the equivalent of Ferrari, and right now they're doing the speed limit at 35 here on this football field.
So with the penalty, 1st and 25 from their own 41-yard line. Carrillo drops back to pass. Good protection, looks over the middle. That time it is picked off by to the 50-yard line, to the 40, up to the 30, and finally dragged down at the 21-yard line. A little extra shove by the Christian tackler.
And there the safety, Peter Franchik, for the Sultans, just kind of followed the eyes of Carrillo, and that was pretty much, had he not caught it, it would have been more of a travesty. But there he's able to pick up the turnover for his defense and give another shot to his offense, who are down by only 4 here in the second quarter.
Well, Carrillo's troubles continue here in the second quarter. He throws that pick. It's brought down to the 22-yard line, where the Sultans have outstanding field position. 7:01 left to go until the break. And Cruz in the gun formation, sending 3 receivers to the near side. Running back in his hip pocket, gets some protection, looking over the top, and throws between 2 receivers. Once again, some miscommunication between the quarterback and his wideouts. Ball falls incomplete, bringing up 2nd down.
And they're just looking to strike quick and hoping to get at least down to the goal line or possibly take the lead there. There was Cruz as he took a shot downfield.
Yeah, Cruz doesn't look to be too in sync with his wideouts tonight. He's had a lot of plays misguided, a lot of passes misguided, and a lot of miscommunication with his receivers. As he's back again to throw, this time to the left side, and once again underthrows on a comeback route. The ball falls incomplete, and that's a little bit of frustration on the part of the receivers of Santana. I think they're going to go back to the huddle and say, hey, pal, I'm open. Just relax and throw.
And sometimes in those cases, what the quarterback is feeling isn't necessarily there. It could be that he's hearing the shouts, he's hearing the footsteps, and it may necessarily. We saw there, he had time to make that throw. He wasn't completely under pressure, and that ball came up at least a few yards short of his receiver.
So that'll bring up 3rd down and 10. Sultans do not want to be turned away here with an opportunity by trailing only by 4 with 6:54 left to go until halftime. Cruz sets his receivers to either side. Gun formation, looking over the middle. That one is nearly picked off, tipped in the air by George, and Owens almost came up with a great interception, but the ball falls incomplete. And again, the Sultans offense, 3 straight pass plays, all 3 just out of rhythm, out of sync, and it'll bring up another 4th down. And we have a timeout on the field. And I believe the Sultans want to talk about it on 4th and 10 from the 22-yard line of Christian. 6:50 left to go until halftime. It's Christian 14, Santana 10.
PlayOnSports.com is not your only destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. And I tell you what, TC, those are 2 sets of hands in Owens and George that aren't going to miss that football much. Santana lucky that they're going to have an opportunity to either try to put some points on the board here and cut into that lead a little bit more.
Santana's offense may want to think about going a little bit more to the ground game. They've been successful running the football with their big running back, and Cruz just has not been sharp so far tonight with a passing game. But they're going to make a field goal attempt from 39 yards out. That's Dylan English. Last one was blocked from nearly this distance. As Christian stacks the middle of the line, they're coming after it. Kick is up and blocked again, and recovered by Christian and brought down the 25-yard line. Someone has got to block Christian's interior line because they are coming like gangbusters and have blocked 2 consecutive field goal attempts, and we remain 14-10 Christian with 6:41 left to go until the half. I tell you, special teams doing it tonight.
There, maybe not necessarily that you're hiking the ball and getting ready to push your man back. Not necessarily in this case. What you want to do is provide protection. They're not doing it on these last 2 field goal attempts. You've had guys in blue jerseys getting in and getting their paws on that ball.
And those kicks have been low. The trajectory hasn't been particularly high. So Christian opportunity now from their own 25-yard line. 3 receivers far side. Carrillo back to throw, goes over the middle, has a man, but underthrows Sauls, throws behind him, and almost hit the defender's heels on that play as Carrillo continues to struggle with the passing game.
Well, it seems right now that the special teams and the defenses have stepped up for both teams as the offenses are both kind of in a funk, not in groove, not in sync, if you would, as we've seen underthrown passes kind of misdirected. There doesn't seem to be a rhythm that either of these quarterbacks has set with their receivers.
There's going to be a lot of adjustments at halftime. Both coaches are going to be talking to their offensive units with 6:36 left to go until the break. 2nd and 10 from the 25, call it the 26-yard line. Carrillo sets 2 receivers the far side. George solo left, looking to pass, heavy rush, and he is dumped at the 17 and hit hard by outside linebacker Sean Padberg, and we've been calling his names about all evening.
I tell you, Padberg has made sure that he's introduced himself quite well to Carrillo. And just from the blind side.
I was about to say that, Eddie. He's not getting much protection from his blind side. That's the 3rd time that he's taken heavy pressure from his left. And now it's 3rd and 15 from the 20-yard line. As Carrillo's confidence starting to wane here with 6:02 left to go until halftime. They set 2 receivers to the far side. Owens a sole setback. Back to throw. Looks like it's a screen. It is a screen, but that is perfectly read by the Sultans. I'm telling you, their screenplays are so predictable now. The Sultans are just waiting for it. And they're outside, and they're not even fooled by any play action. They're just jumping straight to the running back or to the wing back. And that's a loss of another 6 yards. And here comes the punting unit for Christian.
And to just kind of break it down in one aspect of looking at it, when you get the protection up front of your front 5, it opens up opportunities downfield with your receivers as well as your running backs coming out of the backfield. When you're not getting that protection, you're not going to give anybody time to get open. And they're, like you said, they're just sitting there. They're waiting. They're staying home, knowing that the ball's going to get into somebody's hands, but it's going to be for a minimal gain.
Harmon's going to boot this one away from his own 5-yard line. And a nice punt picked up at the 48-yard line by Browning. Watch out for this guy down the left side. He's got speed to burn across the 20-yard line and slides down to the 15. And once again, the Sultans will have outstanding field position at the 15-yard line of Christian with 5:03 left to go until halftime. Christian holding on to a 14-10 lead.
All right, I tell you what, TC, let's pay the bills here real quick.
Right on.
Accurate Underground and Grading and owner Mike Tobiasen have been serving San Diego and the surrounding communities for over 30 years. Their services include grading, custom house pads, water and sewer lines, underground utilities, roads, fire hydrants, horse arenas, brush clearing, and much, much more. Give them a call. Give Mike a call, that is, 760-789-8792, or visit their website, accurateundergroundandgrading.com.
Sultans again with an opportunity here from the 15-yard line. They're going to power this one off the right guard. Pick up maybe 2 yards on the play. And, you know, this is where the Sultans have really struggled tonight in the red zone. They've been able to move the ball fairly well within the 20s, but once they start getting into threatening territory, they have been turned away just about every time. Here's an opportunity now with the ball at the 13-yard line with 4.5 minutes left to go until halftime. Sultans trailing by 4. They'd love to get the lead here with a score. As play action and a roll by Cruz to the right. Looking downfield, and that one just overthrew everybody, including the defenders. And now a late flag on the play. And things are starting to get a little bit chippy. A little problem out there in the secondary. Another one here in the line of scrimmage. As both teams starting to feel a little bit of frustration. And we might have a little personal foul here.
I tell you, you had Khalil Stewart there, the tight end, coming back to the near side, throwing his hands up. And if Cruz is able to just be any kind of accurate, he gets the ball into the tight end, there's a good chance of a score there.
Cruz is really, like Carrillo, has really struggled in the passing game, really not being able in sync with his receivers. Got a personal foul against Santana, and once again, the Sultans killing themselves in the red zone. Huge opportunity here for the Sultans. And now we have offsetting penalties against Christian. Personal foul. And his tempers are starting to flare a little bit. You can kind of sense it up here in the press box.
I tell you, you get frustrated, but when you're on the field, you got to try to temper some of that fire, some of that intensity, and it's hard to do. And both sides there kind of let it get the best of them. Penalties offset. They're going to go ahead and try this again.
Absolutely. 3rd and 8 for the Sultans from the 13-yard line of Christian. 4:26 left to go in the half. They go with 2 wingbacks. They're looking to throw off the fade pattern to the left. And that one caught by Browning, and a penalty on the play. Browning with a great catch in the end zone, coming back for the football. But a flag down, and Browning may be called for offensive pass interference. Possibly a push-off.
Well, and that's something that we saw on the Santana's first touchdown early in this ball game. There was a little bit of push and shove. Not a call there. We've got one here, and let's see who it's going to go against.
No, it's going against Christian. And the Christian fans not happy with the call. So Browning from 13 yards out on a fade route from Cruz gives the Sultans the lead 16-14 with the extra point yet to come. Boy, I don't know. I don't maybe not have seen enough of that play to know who may have pushed off on whom. But Browning on what was an underthrown pass was able to come back for the football, had a good sense of vision, and make the grab in the end zone.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking of is maybe they're thinking that Browning was impeded by the defender, unable to get back to the ball, which he was able to do. And if that's the case, then he scores the touchdown. But here, they're going to go ahead and say it's against the defense.
So the Sultans will take a lead. High snap. If he gets this one up and good, that'll be a miracle. And he did. Cruz with a phenomenal job of bringing that snap down. That ball was like a drive off a tee. And Cruz at 6'4" was able to bring the ball down and allow his kicker to put it through. So it's 17-14. Sultans take the lead with 4:20 left to go until halftime.
I tell you what, I could have been a set of twins on my shoulders, and I still wouldn't have got a chance to bring that ball down. 6'4" comes in handy, especially on plays like that. What I do want to tell you, do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're watching here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports broadcast program. This program allows your school to broadcast all of their games and activities on the web.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1.
Now trails Santana 17-14 thanks to a 13-yard Gabe Cruz to Ryan Browning touchdown pass. Sultans finally connecting in the red zone tonight. And now this game has gotten a little frustrating for both teams. Special teams and defense has really kind of taken over in this quarter, Eddie.
I tell you, aside from that touchdown, pretty much nothing has happened from the 20 to the 20 is pretty much where we've stayed, with maybe just a sniff of the end zone here and there. And the Jekyll and Hyde ride continues from the offensive first quarter to the defensive, I'd say, mistake-prone from both sides, a second quarter.
As we're hearing a great deal of less than complimentary language from the Christian crowd here, as the ball for the kickoff is being placed at the 45-yard line due to the pass interference penalty on the ensuing touchdown. So not a happy Christian crowd right now as they sit behind, right underneath us. And the Sultans will kick this one off, and I expect this one to go well into the end zone, and it does. And Miller just says, you know what, the heck with it. I'll let this one bounce.
No need in trying to get that one.
So Christian's offense will jump back on the field with 4:20 left to go until halftime. The Sultans roaring back with a 17-14 lead.
And one of the things I want to mention is you said some of the crowd here is kind of started getting away from their support of Carrillo here, and unfortunately, it's not something you really like to hear. The head coach, the coaches, the coaching staff in general have a good idea of what this kid's capable of doing. you can't necessarily judge him for just a little bit under of a half that he's played here, but I'm sure he's going to do what's best for this team and not necessarily listen to the chants of the crowd.
Absolutely. As he hands off to Miller on the jet sweep to the right, Miller trying to look for some room and not able to get to the edge. Picks up a yard on the play. 4:10 and counting here until halftime. The Sultans defense just really, like you said, meeting the challenge here and able to hold back this Christian offense. Carrillo struggling a bit against this heavy rush. So good job by the defensive coordinator for the Santana to really dial up these blitzes at the proper time to give Carrillo all kinds of havoc in the backfield.
And that's definitely the case. When you see somebody sweating, and that's what you want them to do, you keep the heat on. And the Sultans definitely have done that as they lead in this ball game in the second quarter.
Yeah, they look like they're going man-to-man all the way. 1-3 on this one defensively. Second down and 8 from the 22 for Carrillo and the Patriots. Motion across the formation. Carrillo back to throw, looking for the slant, has his man incomplete, and once again threw behind his intended receiver, Kai Arvin, and Carrillo. His touch and confidence just not there this evening.
And sometimes what the case can be, I mean, there are several factors that go in necessarily to the rhythm being off. But there, he had a chance to hit his receiver in stride that would have definitely come up with positive yardage, maybe possibly a first down here. And I think if you're Christian going into the halftime, part of the laundry list of things that you got to make adjustments for are, how do we get this guy back in rhythm? How do we get him back in sync?
Across the motion goes Hoffman now, mix up in the backfield. And I'm not sure who has the ball as it looks like Carrillo is going to keep it and pick up back to the line of scrimmage. Absolute mayhem on that play as everybody going in the wrong direction. And Carrillo jogging off the field. Confidence a little bit shaken, and the punt team back on for Christian with 3:07 left to go.
And here, if you're the special teams coach, you're yelling at your guys, get me that ball back. Get the ball back for the offense. The one thing you're going to be able to do for Carrillo is to keep getting him back out there until the point where you decide you got to make that change. But for now, he's the quarterback of this Patriots offense.
Arvin back to punt from the 10-yard line. Barely gets that one away. It's a high, short kick. Going to bounce to the 42 and bounce right out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So the Sultans will take over an outstanding field position from the Christian 44-yard line. They got 2:42 left to go to work with until halftime and leading 17-14.
PlayOnSports.com is not your only destination for Friday night football action, but it's also a place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school football championships and playoff events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
So the Sultans with a 3-point lead and 2:42 left to go until halftime. Have the ball first and 10 from the 44-yard line of Christian. Back to throw is Cruz. That ball is tipped and nearly intercepted by Christian. Sebastian Swift, while being blocked, looked straight in the air and almost came up with that. That would have been his first interception probably of his entire high school career. He probably hasn't smelled a pigskin.
And I tell you there, Tristan O'Connor, one of the guards for the front five for the Sultans, held the linebacker there just a little bit as he was trying to go for that ball.
Swift almost came up with an early Christmas present, but brings up second down and 10. We're going to give a play call up the middle, and not a whole lot of space to run us. Kaufman still fighting on the ground with the ball with the running back Jareth Raymond, and both of them still on the ground, and finally officials were able to pull them apart. As Zane Kaufman, who had a tremendous game last week with 2 sacks, has been all over the field for Christian this evening.
And there you just had 2 linebackers able to bust that play up. One of them actually over-pursued the play. They had so much of a head start.
Look out for the blitz from Christian. Here it comes. Back to throw is Cruz. Cruz going deep down the left side. That ball's hanging. And a beautiful one-handed intercept. No, they're going to call that incomplete. As Trevor Howell looked like he made an amazing one-handed interception grab. But it looks like the ball may have touched the ground. The officials calling it incomplete. But great defense this time by Christian, forcing the Sultans to punt it away with 1:54 left to go until halftime.
And I tell you what, Howell there, they keep picking on him. They keep going to his side. They're looking for that big play out of that side of the secondary. Not happening. He stepped up and almost came up with a heck of an interception there.
Dylan English standing at his own 43-yard line, ready to punt this one away to Trevor Howell. Howell at his own 15, 1:54 left to go. High snap. That's going to be an extremely short kick. That one's going to, Eddie, you might want to field that one yourself.
I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and get that. Oh, couldn't get down there fast enough. But yeah, that definitely looked like it was a souvenir for us up in the broadcast booth.
That kick is going to net 7 yards. So the punt by Santana, not Ray Guy-esque, but at least there was no return.
There was no return. That's definitely one way to keep.
That's the glass half full attitude on a punt like that. 1:47 left to go until halftime, and Christian with the football at their own 36-yard line. 2 receivers far side. Carrillo looking again on the slant, and he is just dumped as he just tried to get rid of the football. And Carrillo facing just loads of pressure from the interior of the Sultans' defensive line.
And ideally, if you're able to pull off these screens, these little short passes, they could work to your advantage, because pretty much Santana's bringing the house on every play, but it just hasn't been the case. They haven't been able to find that hole. Carrillo hasn't been able to really connect with anybody to try to get one of those short yardage plays to turn into a big game.
They go heavy in the middle for the blitz. Carrillo going over the edge, got his man Sauls at the 40, 50-yard line, and drags the defender down, and now a late flag, which could be a potential face mask against the Sultans. That's, like you said, Eddie, just as you had mentioned, quick hitter like that. You have very few people in the secondary when you're bringing the house or 8 in the box. And Christian makes them pay. They give the big man Sauls on the pass play across the middle. The ball is at the 40-yard line of the Sultans, and the penalty might just tack on another 15.
As they discuss it there, let's go ahead and talk about that. You've got a 2-man backfield, and what they were doing, they were keeping everybody home, and they were bringing the receivers back in towards the play. There, they released one of the running backs, and a heck of a running back at that. He was able to get the catch, from Carrillo there and pick up a pretty good chunk of yardage. That might be all for naught.
Whoa. Now this is a turn of events here, as Christian is going to be called for the penalty, and I'm not sure what the call is. I haven't seen an indication yet from the officials. That'll mark the ball back to the 44-yard line. Did they get a hold there? Is that what they called?
Looks like they're...
Yes, it is. It's a holding call against Christian. Marks the ball back to the 44-yard line. Negates an outstanding play by Sauls. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 2 with 1:36 left to go until halftime. As Christian on the march, 2 receivers far side. George solo left, back to throw, heavy rush, and guess who? Dumped in the backfield again is Carrillo. And that is none other than Sean Padberg from his outside linebacker position, completely untouched from the blind side. And that has got to be the 4th or 5th time this evening that Carrillo has been crushed from the blind side.
And that's something that needs to get addressed immediately. Not necessarily for the yardage that they're losing, but for the health of their quarterback.
Yeah, you're going to kill the poor kid. So loss of 6 on the play, 3rd and 7 from their own 38-yard line. Carrillo's looking back to throw again. Goes down the right side, has a man. That's George. He's got it this time and runs away from his defender. And outruns the secondary for a Christian touchdown. And just as you had mentioned, it just takes one play against this all-in defense to break it open big, and George does just that on a pass from Carrillo.
Carrillo's touchdown pass is brought to you by Steve Carrillo and Mass Mutual. Who matters most to you says the most about you? At Mass Mutual, our customers matter most to us. Mass Mutual Financial Group will help you get there. Insurance, retirement, and investments. Call Steve Carrillo at 408-892-5300.
No, the extra point attempt is perfect, and Christian has retaken the lead, 21-17 with 53 seconds left to go until halftime, thanks to a 54-yard touchdown pass from Carrillo to George Phillip. Or rather, pardon me, make sure I get the name correct, Phillip George.
Any way you want to call him, the kid made a heck of a play as he puts his team back up on top here right before the end of the first half. And basically what it is that they needed to do, they did. They were able to give Carrillo a little bit of time back there, and in doing so, the electric players he's got at the skill positions can pretty much handle the rest. There was a little bit of a bobble. He had to kind of come back for the ball. The defender looking to make the interception wasn't able to put himself in a position to stop the receiver after he made the catch. Touchdown, Christian back on top.
The defender almost looked like he gave up on the play after George had made that catch. And George just sprinted into the end zone for remaining 25 yards. And here we are, 21-17. Christian retakes the lead. 53 seconds left to go until the break. And this turned out to be a lot better game than people had really anticipated. Reading and talking with people, they expected Christian to just kind of walk all over the Sultans tonight, but that has not been the case. The Sultans have been gritty, and especially defensively, and fighting back. And now an onside kick down to the 30-yard line, and he picked up by Christian. Two people missed their block as Browning all the way down to the 43-yard line. Some poor tackling on the part of the special teams units of Christian, giving the Sultans a little bit of field position here with just 48 seconds to go.
Juice Electric, providing quality electrical contracting for 27 years with over 40 years of total experience, specializing in small to medium-sized jobs for both residential and commercial projects. Remember Juice Electric, we keep your juice flowing. Call Joe Juice at 619-464-6650.
48 ticks left to go until halftime. Christian has regained the lead 21-17 over Santana in what has been a back-and-forth ball game and has gotten real exciting in the last few minutes of this second quarter. At the Sultans now with Gabe Cruz under center, three receivers far side, 1st and 10 from their own 44. They're going to flip toss this one over to the left side, looking for some room around the edge, and finds a little bit, and actually on second effort, gears forward for an 8-yard gain is the big running back, Jareth Raymond. But the clock continues to tick as the Sultans don't look like they're in much of a hurry to get back on the ball.
And I tell you what, being down by four going into the half and leading most of the second quarter, you got to like where you are if you are Santana. If you're Christian on the other side of it, you got a lot of things that you need to try to work out in this break that you're going to get here at halftime.
Cannot rely on big plays every time to win a game. Nickel package for this Christian is back to throw is Cruz. Cruz has a man down the left side, and look out at the 40-yard line, makes a nice move down to the 31-yard line with almost no time left, virtually no time left. That was, I'm not sure what they're going to do now. It's 0.4 seconds left to go on a first down, and I think they're going to call this halftime. No, actually with 0.4 seconds left to go, Santana's going to call a timeout and talk about what they'd like to do on this last play of the first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, while they're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and remind you, Juice Electric, providing quality electrical contracting for 27 years with over 40 years of total experience, specializing in small to medium-sized jobs for both residential and commercial projects. Remember Juice Electric, we keep your juice flowing. Give Joe Juice a call at 619-464-6650.
I'm going to donate money to buy new jerseys for the Sultans because I can barely read their numbers on their road whites.
I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and make a call on this. They're going to go ahead and set up the center and try to go for an alley-oop here and pick up two going into halftime. Okay. I apologize, that is basketball, but that would be the case. Usually with 0.4 seconds left, you're not going to see many things happen on a football field.
You go with that, Ed. We'll see what they decide to do. 0.4 seconds left to go. The last play of the first half. Gabe in gun formation. That's Cruz. Heavy rush coming from the left. He's going to throw it right over the middle to a man. Has Browning and just laid Browning up for dinner. And lucky Browning didn't take a nasty shot from the free safety. And that will do it for the first half of play here from Granite Hills High School. Christian with a 21-17 lead over Santana as we go into the locker room. And folks, we're going to take a break ourselves. We'll be back for our halftime show here for PlayOnSports.com. So stick with us here on PlayOnSports.com, your home for high school sports.
get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
And welcome back to PlayOnSports.com, the halftime show here from Granite Hills High School, where Christian High holds a 21-17 lead over Santana High. And let me give a quick recap of the scoring of the first half. It was Carrillo striking first on a quarterback sneak for Christian, making the 7-0 score from 2 yards out. And right back after that came quarterback Gabe Cruz for Santana, connecting with his wideout Ryan Browning on a 64-yard touchdown play, evening the score at 7-piece. But Zach Kaufman and Carrillo would come right back for Christian with a 36-yard screen pass that went for a score, making it 14-7 Christian. And then Santana would hit a 35-yard field goal, making it a 14-10, narrowing the margin 14-10 for Christian at the end of the first quarter. Now, the second quarter, Eddie, we had a lot of special teams play. 2 field goal attempts by Santana were blocked, killing 6 potential points there. But eventually it would be Browning from a 13-yard touchdown pass from Gabe Cruz, giving Santana a 17-14 lead late in the second quarter. But right at the end, with less than a minute to play in the first half, Carrillo would connect with Phillip George on a 54-yard touchdown strike, giving Christian, or allowing them to retake the lead, 21-17. And that is where we are at halftime. 21-17 Christian. What has been an outstanding, actually a very entertaining ball game, but really right in the middle, defensive and special teams minded for most of the first half of play.
I tell you, for the most part, it's been just a variety, a stew, if you would, of what we've been able to see. I mean, it's going to be rare that you're going to find 2 back-to-back blocked field goals. One you can get away with here every now and then, a lapse in the coverage or a lapse in the protection, I should say. But I think that second one, you kind of almost felt it coming along. The kicker, just the way, like you said, 2 low line drive kind of kicks. Christian definitely doing well to keep those 6 points off the board there. Now, going into the second half, what does Christian got to do?
It's a good question. I was about to ask you, halftime adjustments, what are we looking at? Christian needs to get quarterback Michael Carrillo's confidence back up. He really struggled in the first half with the rhythm of his receivers, through a lot of incomplete passes, including 1 interception, was pressured severely, especially from his blind side, sacked 3 times. So they need to get behind him and just let him know, hey, settle down, we're okay, we're going to get some protection on your blind side, put an extra back there, or go heavy with an extra tight end or something, and just play the way they have. Their defenses looked really strong, and they've held Santana back significantly to only 17 points. So Christian, I think, is okay as long as they can keep Carrillo on his feet and keep his confidence.
And I tell you, if they're unable to do that, this kid's going to be afraid to make left turns.
Yeah. Well, let's go right back at you. Halftime adjustment for the Santana football team. What do they need to do to get back on track?
I think they need to take a page regarding Carrillo over to their side, their quarterback there in Cruz. As you had mentioned, during the second quarter, you're not going to win on the big plays. Neither of these teams is going to be able to sustain, that type of big play kind of ability. We've seen the defenses step up. We've seen the special teams in certain aspects kind of so-so. If you're Santana, you want to stay within striking distance, within 1 score. And I think in order to do that on offense, they need to control the clock a little bit more. They need to take away that big play ability from this Christian Patriot offense that still returns. Maybe not necessarily the quarterback position, but the skill positions are well stocked.
Well, Cruz, the big 6'4" junior quarterback for the Sultans, has had time to throw. He just has not been accurate tonight and not been on the same page with his receivers. But his line's given him a fair amount of protection. So I think the coach is getting in his face saying, look, and the receivers who were frustrated in the first half for the Sultans, were going back to him saying, look, relax, just pitch and catch. Don't worry about it. We'll be there. Just throw the ball. Don't short hop us or overthrow us. So some adjustments for both sides necessary here from Granite Hills High School, as we have a few minutes before the second half kickoff. So we'll take a break and join you then for the second half of action here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Stay with us, folks. And we are back from Granite Hills High School, PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. As we prepare for the second half of play in the game in week 2 of San Diego section, Christian with a 21-17 lead over the Sultans of Santana High, and Christian will be kicking it away to the Sultan special teams unit, and that's Ryan Browning standing just inside his own 10-yard line, ready to receive the kick. And it is a short squib kick. It's going to take a heck of a bounce and picked up at the 23-yard line by Browning. Browning not able to get away from the defenders, able to get a couple yards on the play up to the 33-yard line, and the Sultan offense will take over their first possession of the second half.
And I'm very interested to see what they're going to do, how they're going to come out. If they're going to take my advice, which is solid advice if you ask me.
As always, Eddie.
If they're going to take the advice or just kind of make the adjustment to try to manage this clock a little bit better. Let's see if they're able to mix that run with the pass that has been inconsistent. Let's see if they made the adjustments and if it comes out and shows up here in the third quarter.
And we got the big running back, Jareth Raymond, sole setback. And they go with 2 wing backs, tight formation, motion across the formation this time. Raymond gets the call off the left side as he powers forward for about 1.5 yards to the 34-yard line. Well, they're going to go with a run game a little bit and try to tighten this Christian defense up a bit.
Well, in doing that, one of the keys one of the benefits, I should say, of doing that is to lull that defense in, bring them in. Like you said, you keep them honest, you bring them in, and you've definitely got big play guys on the outside. If Cruz is able to hit him.
Unbeknownst to Sultans, they have 12 men on the field. Motion across the formation, 2nd and 9. Looking to throw, and in deep, ugly pressure, drop back at the 25-yard line is Gabe Cruz, as he had heavy rush of blue jerseys right up the middle as they blitz the A-gaps and drop Cruz for a 7-yard loss. Boy, Cruz had absolutely no chance on that play as Christian's inside linebackers just gun the gaps and drop the big 6'4" quarterback for a huge loss.
I tell you, that's a little, that would be concern for me if I got 12 guys on the field and I can't even stop them from sacking me.
So 3rd and 15. Cruz in the gun formation looking to throw. He's going deep down the right sideline, running man for man with the receiver, and overthrows his intended receiver on the play. That was Cajon Stewart. Well covered by defensive back Jacob Porras. We'll bring up 4th down, and the punting unit for the Sultans coming on the field, and once again a 3-and-out for this Christian defense.
I tell you, the Patriots have Porras listed as a linebacker, but there he showed good defensive back ability as he ran stride for stride with the receiver, causing Santana to punt here.
And a bad snap, and Billy brought down, partially blocked by Christian, and bounces down to the 43-yard line and picked up by Owens. Owens down the left sideline, cuts back outside and returns the ball all the way to the 20, just inside the 20-yard line. As Owens just kind of picked up the football. Nobody even thought to tackle him until about 10 yards downfield. And Owens returns the ball to the 20-yard line. Well, Christian will have outstanding field position with 10:19 left to go in the third quarter.
I'll tell you there, one of the things we talked about, the adjustments that needed to be made, was the protection on special teams for the Sultans, and there it failed them again, and it could cost them big time right here.
3rd special teams block tonight by Christian as the Patriots go 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. There's Owens right up the middle, sneaks in, touchdown, just like that. Quick strike offense by Christian, and Rayvon Owens goes 20 yards for the score, and Christian takes a 27-17 lead at the 10:14 mark of the third quarter.
And I tell you what, he'd been quiet. The offense wasn't able to pretty much get anything to him, but that punt return there rejuvenated him as he was able to take the handoff from the quarterback, untouched up the middle, with the possibility of putting his team up by 11 here to start the third quarter.
Mason Powell ready to kick this one up to add the extra point. Good snap, good hold, and Powell's kick is perfect. And Christian, in short order, takes a 28-17 lead over Santana with 10:14 left to go in the third quarter.
Accurate Underground and Grading and owner Mike Tobiasen have been serving the San Diego and surrounding communities for over 30 years. Their services include grading, custom house pads, water and sewer lines, underground utilities, roads, fire hydrants, house arenas, brush clearing, and much, much more. Feel free to contact Mike Tobiasen at 760-789-8792 or visit their website, and I'll go ahead and say it slow for you so you get it, and you're able to contact these guys. AccurateUndergroundandGrading.com. That's one big word. I'll say it again. AccurateUndergroundandGrading.com. And I'll tell you what, on behalf of all of them at Accurate Underground and Grading, they want to say, go Patriots.
TC Wardell alongside Eddie Alcaraz and our producer, Brian Hugaboom. Give him a little props here this evening for the fine job he's doing for us here on PlayOnSports.com. From Granite Hills High School in East San Diego County, Christian with a quick strike to start the second half of play. 28-17 lead over Santana. Now trailing by 11, and Santana's offense kind of helter-skelter tonight. What are they going to need to do to kind of get back on track offensively?
As much as I hate to say it, that maybe the trickery needs to come back. Maybe one of those big plays or two will help them and get them back in this game as they're down by 11.
Up back for Santana, picks up the squib kick on the kickoff and brings the ball back to the 42-yard line. And it's funny about Christian's kicking game off the kickoff. They've been willing to just squib this down the middle and provide the Sultans with very good field position on just about every possession.
Well, in there, the percentages aren't going to be high in your favor, but you're hoping for just that one squib that hits the wrong guy, either off the leg or off the hands, that he, not necessarily that sure of picking up the ball. And if you get it, it's going to set you up in great position. But like I said, the percentages of it happening, unfortunately, are a little bit low.
Though it did happen 3 times for him last week. As Cruz throws it to Browning in and out of his receiver's hands at midfield, falls incomplete. And that time, one of Cruz's good passes not caught by the receivers. I think they're not used to having balls coming right at them.
And I tell you, if the receiver's probably going to say that, but Cruz is going to, guy, come on, you got to catch that.
I threw a good one. Catch that one. You've been griping at me all game long. So the Sultan offense been stymied here for the past quarter and a half. 2nd and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Cruz in the gun formation. Looking to throw again. Plenty of time. Looks over the middle. Has Browning at the 45-yard line. And Browning drags the tackler across the 40 to the 39-yard line. Pardon me, that is not Browning on the catch. That is Cahill Stewart with the nice catch and run. And into Christian territory.
And as they were able to kind of stretch the secondary, the linebackers were kind of picking up everybody else that was heading out. The offense was kind of spread. There you were able to get one of the tight end / receivers open over the middle, coming to the near side for a big gain. This is what the Sultans are going to need to do to stay in this ball game.
So 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Another quick pass, this time complete at the 35 and unable to shake his defender. But I believe that was Robert Schonk on the reception. Pickup of 6 on the play, and that's exactly right. They're finding the holes and windows right in the middle of this Christian defense, and just kind of take what they give us, make it nice and easy, pitch and catch, nothing dramatic. Let's just move the ball downfield. So 2nd and 5 from the 34-yard line, staying in the gun formation. There's Cruz. Cruz able to escape, and now the 6'4" man is going to run and slide. He does the hook slide to the 35-yard line. He saw the defender coming on. He said, I don't want any piece of him.
And despite the fact that he probably gave up a half a foot or maybe a little bit more there, he respected the power of the full-on speed of the safety coming up to meet him as he went there and slid safely into second base. Now you got a runner in scoring position here if you are Santana.
We saw Paris Miller coming full speed at him, and he said, discretion being the better part of valor, I think I'll just hook slide and live for another day.
There you go.
3rd and 6 from the 35-yard line. Cruz back in the gun, firing to the flat, and again, him and Browning just out on the same page as Browning curls in, and Cruz's pass goes to an out, and that'll bring up 4th down, and now you're at the 35 of your opponents. And you got to think about going for it here.
Oh, definitely. Down by 11, knowing that you've pretty much woken up this Christian Patriots team.
Just as we say that, they bring the punting unit on the field for Santana. 8:35 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And Christian holding a 28-17 lead. As Santana looking to boot this one away. Dylan English standing at his own at the 47 of Christian. Good snap, better get whatever this one quickly, and he does. And that one heading to the sideline a little bit, and that one may die inside the 10, and it does. A great punt that's killed at the 7-yard line, which will pin the Christian offense back at the 8:26 mark of the third quarter. Hey, outstanding job by Dylan English to kill that punt within the 10.
I tell you there, it hit and went straight up, I'd say maybe a foot or two, and that's definitely in the favor of this Sultans defense as they come out, and they've got to make something happen here. They really do. But getting back to one of the things I want to say regarding Cruz, it just seems his footwork's a little bit off, and I know with his athleticism, with the big arm that he's got, he's just not setting up. To me, the mechanics are just a little bit off. That's definitely going to affect your rhythm.
And this time they're going to go right up the middle, and Owens runs into a brick wall at the line of scrimmage and is bent back for about a half-yard loss.
So it could possibly turn into a positive move if they can force a punt here, or maybe even a turnover. You're down by 11.
And Sultans cannot afford another touchdown as their offense has been really hot and cold here this evening. And Christian's defense has been on lockdown. This is an important drive that they can stop Christian here and get this football back at the 8:06 mark of the third quarter. Second and about 11 for Christian, sitting at their own 7-yard line. Carrillo dropping back to pass, looking to throw down the right sideline, has a man open and just overthrows George. Phillip George had a step on his defender down the left sideline, and Carrillo really with a good pass just overthrew him by a touch.
And something we haven't seen that is kind of starting to happen here, Carrillo's getting a little bit of time. You're giving him that, and you're going to have these guys, the Georges, the Owens, the Sauls. These guys are going to get open. They're that good. There, if he's able to connect, it becomes a foot race for the rest of the field, or rest to head up down the field. Turns into a long incompletion here.
Look how Owens is helping with blitz pickup from the backfield. 3rd and 11 from their own 6. Carrillo under center, looking to throw again, fires over the top, and in and out of the arms of Kai Arvon, and that time it might have been the receiver's fault. The pass was a little low, but easily catchable. And now Christian with a little bit of trouble here. Ball sitting the 6-yard line, 4th and 11. Gonna have to punt it away, and Arvan's gonna be standing at the back of his end zone, ready to boot this ball away to the Sultans.
I tell you, this is the smart play here. Even if you get one of those 7-yard punts, it puts it out to the 13, and it sets him up a little bit farther away from that end zone.
7:51 left to go in the third quarter. Christian with a 28-17 lead, but now pinned back, having to punt it away from the back of their own end zone. Sultans defense up to the task. Low snap, he's trying to fight it in the backfield, and that one just goes out of bounds at the back of the end zone, and punter Kai Arvin did the smart thing. He knew he didn't have possession of that snap, and he just flung the ball to the back of the end zone. So we'll give up the safety, but we're not going to give up the 6.
Well, it still leaves you up by 9, and it still makes it a 2-score ball game. Not that we're necessarily going into that. There's still plenty of football here to play. But there, rather than trying to pick it up and do something where it could have ended up in the hands of the guys in the white jerseys, the smart play, as you had mentioned, TC, throws it out of the back of the end zone, and he saves his team 5 points there. They're going to kick off here to Santana, but minimal damage out of that. You gotta like the quick thinking of the kicker.
So Santana, having pinned the Christian back within their own 10-yard line, defense comes through, and then they capitalize on a bad snap, a long snap to the punter, and in a smart headsy move, Kai Arvin just throws the ball out of bounds to avoid a sack in the end zone. Would give him 6 points. That gives up only 2. We have now a 28-19 game. Christian with the lead, but they'll be kicking the ball off to Santana, and maybe a little momentum here, a little fire now, an opportunity for the Santana football team to get back into the ball game.
Was still, as we're looking at, more than halfway through this third quarter that we still got to play, and a fourth quarter forthcoming. This is definitely something positive. If they're able even to pick up 3 here, the Sultans, it's definitely something, like you said, going in the positive direction.
Looks like they're going to punt this one away as opposed to putting it on the tee. Robert Spearing, senior backup kicker, is going to punt this away. And a nice end-over-end punt picked up at the 39-yard line. And finding a hole across midfield and really run through a tackle and nearly breaking away and returning the ball all the way to the 42-yard line of Christian. And that is where the Sultans will take over an outstanding field position in Christian territory. 7:36 left to go in the third quarter. It's Christian 28, Santana 19.
Juice Electric, providing quality electrical contracting for 27 years with over 40 years, of total experience. Specializing in small to medium-sized projects for both residential and commercial projects. Always remember, Juice Electric. They keep your juice flowing. And feel free to give Joe Juice a call at 619-464-6650.
Gabe Cruz in the gun formation, 1st and 10, finds his man Browning at the 37. He eludes a tackle across the 30, spins away and nearly got away from another defender across the 25 to the 24-yard line. Tyler Browning on that play. A nice catch and run, and here we go. Santana again working toward the red zone and threatening as they trail 28-19.
Well, there are two opportunities to keep it to a minimal gain. Both defenders unable to wrap up the receiver as he's able to kind of keep his feet moving and move forward and pick up another fresh set of downs here for the Sultans.
You know, and tacking on to what you talked about in the first half, Eddie, a number of two-way players in the secondary for Christian. That's what works on the legs. Plenty of time for Cruz. They're not even rushing him as he rolls to his left. And the big man is going to run downfield and stay on his feet and finally brought down. I don't know if he was sure he wanted to slide or keep running, but he ran all the way to the 21-yard line, picked up 4 yards, even though he ran about 100.
And one of the things I kind of noticed there, even though the play was coming to the right side, he had two receivers on the left side that were just kind of standing around with defenders kind of joining him there. And it looked more like a cocktail party than a football play. And as he was coming back, neither receiver bothered to look up in time to try to come back and make a play for the quarterback as he ended up having to scramble and pick up a few yards there on first down.
No, they were only 3 men rushing on that play, 8 men in the secondary. Cruz had all the time in the world and finally rolled out and picked up almost 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6 from the 20-yard line. Cruz again in the gun. Heavy pressure, and this time he's going down at the 30-yard line. And guess who that is? That is inside linebacker Zane Kaufman. 2 sacks last week. He's got another one this week.
I tell you, there's a rumor going around at halftime. He helped jumpstart the one of the team buses back there. The kid does everything. He's sacking, he's punting, he's doing it all. And he's doing it right now when his team needs him, as the Sultans are driving on the right side of the field.
Sultans going backwards here, 3rd and 13 from the 27-yard line of Christian. 6 minutes left to go in the 3rd. Cruz looking to throw, has a man over the middle. That's Tyler Browning. He's got room on the left side. It's a sprint to the end zone. He breaks the tackle and scores. Holy cow. And let me tell you, I think the secondary of Christian is a little leg heavy right now because Browning just hit the edge, the corner on the left side, and just outran the secondary for a touchdown. And Santana has narrowed the gap, 28-25 with the extra point left to come with the 5:50 mark of the 3rd quarter.
Accurate Underground and Grading and owner Mike Tobiasen have been serving the San Diego and surrounding communities for over 30 years. Their services include grading, custom house pads, water and sewer lines, underground utilities, roads, fire hydrants, horse arenas, brush clearing, and much more. Feel free to give Mike Tobiasen a call at 760-789-8792 or visit their website at accurateundergroundandgrading.com. And on behalf of all of those at Accurate Underground and Grading, go Patriots.
Well, just like that, Santana trailing 21-17 at the half. And at one point trailing 28-17 has narrowed it to a 2-point margin. Now trailing Christian only 28-26 with 5:50 left to go in the 3rd quarter. As this offense for Santana starting to get on track a little bit, but I think it's just as important to note that the secondary for Christian, with a number of players going both ways, I think are starting to show a little bit of sign of fatigue.
Well, there, as the play was designed to come to the right side, they had the slant coming to the near side of the field. You had a receiver going back to the far side. The quarterback was able to get the play off. He had a good amount of pressure on him, able to get the pass off, and then it became a foot race, as you said, with this foot-heavy secondary. The receiver was able to turn around the corner, get into the end zone, and get his team just inching closer to possibly taking the lead here in this game.
Well, Christian is a small school, which means they're going to field a relatively thin roster, which means a lot of guys are going to play Ironman football going both ways. And you see that with the skill position players on offense playing in the secondary, as Browning, who's only going one way, and he is the speedster for the Sultans team, just ran away and threw tackles in the secondary of Christian. And now Santana, and what it looked like they might have been last nail in the coffin. Now trail only by 2, 28-26 with 5:50 left to go in the third.
And you gotta like, if you're Santana, the momentum shift that you've been given. And if you're able to capitalize, as you said, on a smaller roster for Christian, now is the time to do it.
So Santana ready to kick it away to the Christian return man, and there's a squibbler, and this one's going right out of bounds. So Christian will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line, holding on to a 2-point lead with 5:50 left to go in the third. As the Christian fans have suddenly grown quiet as their 11-point lead has shrunk to just 2.
But as we've seen so far here in this ball game, no lead is safe. The momentum has switched at least several times here. And depending on the play, I think whichever team at this point just kind of tightens up and can play mistake-free football the rest of the way has got a good chance of coming out here with a victory.
Well, this has been an outstanding football game. Both teams playing hard, and certainly mistakes on either side, but also big plays. As Santana will actually re-kick the ball, and we have a Santana player suddenly down before the kickoff, and to me that would probably be a cramp. The way he's holding his leg, this is prior to the kickoff. One of the players on the kickoff team for Santana is on his back. And hopefully it's only a cramp. It is a humid evening, a warm and humid evening here in El Cajon, California. And we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com. Week 2 in the San Diego section. A lot of things going on tonight. And some pretty big games throughout the entire county. This being one of them. Also covering that Torrey Pines Cathedral Catholic game. Mark Grumman, his first opportunity to do play-by-play for Play on Sports at Cathedral Catholic. I wish you could listen in on him, but I'll probably check in tonight and see how he went, and I'll send him a nasty gram about how he performed tonight.
I tell you, he could call the most perfect game, and we're going to go ahead and razz him regardless, but I'm sure he's doing a great job out there.
He's been my partner for a number of years up in North County for San Diego. Now he's kind of going a little solo, doing some play-by-play. Which gives me an opportunity to work with Fast Eddie Alcaraz a little more often here.
I tell you, knowing the waiting list as long as it is, you must know some very powerful people, my friend.
Yeah, well, I got to slip a 20 here and there just to be able to work with you, Eddie. So it's a great honor and a privilege.
Right back at you, big guy. All right, looks like they got the injured player there up and ready to go.
Yeah, get a little Gatorade and potassium and get him back on the field. So let's recap. 5:50 left to go in the third quarter. Santana has narrowed the gap 28-26 as the squib kick to Christian, picked up at the 28-yard line by the up back. And that is one of the defensive ends for Christian, who gets an opportunity to carry the ball. He's got to be a little bit excited and makes a nice return. I think that's Swift.
That was number 51 there, the junior linebacker. All 6'4", 200 pounds of him.
Big opportunity there for him to touch the football on the squib kick and made a nice run of it, actually, getting the ball up to the 43-yard line to give the Christian offense good field position.
And I got a good feeling that going through his head was, don't drop this ball. Don't drop this ball.
1st and 10, Christian. 2 receivers near side. Carrillo under center. And back to throw in the 3-step drop. Heavy pressure. Throws that one almost away as he overthrew his intended receiver. He had a white jersey just blanketing him right before the throw. And that one will fall incomplete.
And there, the front four was able to kind of get some penetration, as they did in the first half. Not so much here in the second half, of kind of pressuring Carrillo there, kind of throwing off his back foot, but still had a receiver in the area, just a little bit over his head.
Carrillo having a bit of a rough night. Had some highlight plays, but had a tough time connecting with receivers this evening. 2nd and 10 from their own 43. Heavy rush coming from the Whites, right across the middle. Pass broken up by the inside linebacker for Santana. That was defensive captain Kevin Brady, who flicked the ball away from Sauls at the last moment and breaking up the pass play, bringing up 3rd down.
And I tell you, if Sauls wouldn't have caught that, it kind of went forward and might have ended up in the hands of number 3, Phillip George.
Phillip George, Mr. Opportunity. Phillip George going both ways tonight. And you can tell he's a little slow to the line of scrimmage as he breaks from the huddle. So 3rd and 10. And the white jerseys pinning back for Sultans. They're coming. Carrillo Looking back to throw, heavy rush. He's going to go deep down the right side. Has his man in and out of the hands of Philip George. That was a strike by Carrillo, and George just not able to haul that one in. And a big break for Santana, bringing up a 4th down.
There, I think the play all the way was coming to the near side to George there. Had a step on the defender, and instead of putting the 2 hands up, kind of threw one of the hands up, seeing if he could bring it in. Not the case. They're going to have to go ahead and play the conservative play here and give the ball back to Santana.
Carrillo with a tremendous pass between 2 defenders. George really should have had that one. And a huge play averted, and Sultan's going to get the football back. And as Christian ready to boot this one away. Heavy rush, a high kick. Fair catch call for it. He's trying to keep away from him. Boy, is this going to take a Christian bounce. At the 22-yard line, the Sultan defense holds tight and gives the Santana offense an opportunity as Santana trails 28-26 to Christian with 4:54 left to go in the 3rd.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and activities on the web. For more info, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So Santana, Sultan offense back on the field, 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. 3 receivers to the far side. This time under center is Cruz. They're going to sweep toss this one to the right. And the ball jarred loose, and it looks like Christian has come up with a football. They have. Running back Jareth Raymond looking for some room to run, cutting back inside, had the ball stripped away. And Christian, huge opportunity now with the ball deep in Santana territory at the 25-yard line. Quick turn of events, Eddie.
I tell you what, and that was in on that play and actually making sure that the defender who came up with the ball was safe was David Suda, the 6'2 senior. There, we hadn't called his name tonight, but I tell you what, this is not what you wanted to happen if you were the Sultans. Christian in a good position to put up another score here.
Giving him a short field, and here on Miller on this jet sweep to the 20-yard line, lowers the shoulder and plows forward to the 17. And you do not want to give a talented offense like Christian a short field like this and second chances.
And this is one of the things. Last year, some of these kids stepped up. The Owens, the Sauls, especially as during the season, he picked up a kickoff return, ran one back on a punt return. The depth that even though it's a small roster, they were able to step up and kind of fill the holes. Here, you got Paris Miller, the junior, the running back, is going to be able to spell some of the more talented backs, more well-known backs, and possibly get Christian into the end zone here.
No, 2nd and 1. They're going to go deep to the right side. To George, touchdown, Christian. Carrillo with a beautiful strike to Philip George from 17 yards out. And Christian extends their lead 34-26.
And Carrillo's touchdown pass was brought to you by Steve Carrillo and Mass Mutual. Who matters most to you? Say the most about you. At Mass Mutual, our customers matter most to us. Mass Mutual Financial Group will help you get there. Insurance, retirement, and investments. They got it all. Give Steve Carrillo a call at 408-892-5300.
Extra point attempt by Powell is up and good. And Christian has extended the lead 35-26 over Santana with 4:29 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And boy, Carrillo has just been hot and cold. When he's good, he is good. And that was a perfect strike to his favorite receiver, Philip George, from 17 yards out. And that was all set up due to a fumble on the last possession of Santana, which gave a short field to Christian.
A costly turnover for Santana. And there, their running back, Raymond, was just trying to do a little bit too much. He was trying to cut back. Unfortunately, he threw that ball in just in one arm there. The defenders were able to pop it out, land on it, give their offense a shot to get it in the end zone. And the offense obliged as they're able to extend their lead here to 9, which ultimately leads it. Still 2 scores, but still a lot of football left to go. And as we've seen in this seesaw battle, who knows? Who knows what can happen?
Plenty of time left, 4:29 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Been an up and down, topsy-turvy game between these two squads. As we had mentioned early in the broadcast, Christian, the defending Division V champions in the San Diego section, taking on Santana. Santana last year had an absolute breakout season, 11 wins, and a bid to the Division IV championship game at Qualcomm Stadium, a game in which they lost to Valley Center. But it was the best season in about 7 years for the Santana team with Dave Gross at the helm. Gross has since left. Tim Estes has taken over as the head man for the Santana football team. And they've lost 28 key seniors to graduation. So everyone looking toward a rebuilding year with the Santana football team, but they still have plenty of weapons abound on this football program. As Christian finally kicks this one deep down to the 15-yard line. Picked up by Browning, looking down the right side. Has room to go, and boy, he is almost necktied at the 35-yard line on a nice return by Tyler Browning, and the Sultan offense will jog back on the field with 4:24 left to go in the third.
PlayOnSports.com is not your only destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
So the Sultans trailing now by 9 points to Christian. Will take over on offense at the ball at their own 35-yard line. That is Gabe Cruz, the 6'4" quarterback in the gun formation, looking to throw right. Heavy rush coming from the left, and there's nowhere for Cruz to go except down at the 25-yard line. Protection just collapsed. And good job by the secondary to keep the receivers covered.
I tell you, TC, that looks a mirror image of what the Sultans were doing to the Patriots earlier here in this ball game.
Dialing up blindside blitzes, going heavy on that side. And Cruz jogs out of the game. He may have an equipment issue. So we have a new quarterback, at least potentially temporarily, unless they're going Wildcat. And it looks like Ryan Browning, and that's who it is. It is a Wildcat play. Browning going to roll to his left and throw, and just absolutely throws that one into the arms of a defender. Well covered on the play by Trevor Howell, as Ryan Kaufman now filling in for Gabe Cruz, who now jogs back into the huddle. It must have been an equipment issue. So Gabe Cruz back in the game after one play by Browning. It was Browning. It wasn't Tyler, it was Ryan Browning. So Cruz back in the gun formation, 3rd and 17. As Cruz looking down the throw, throws it high down the right sideline, picked off by George. No, or did he get it? He did get it. He did get an interception by Philip George of Christian at the 45-yard line of the Patriots. As Cruz just tossed that ball up for grabs. That one just hung in the air.
And I tell you, he had something cooking here on the near side. He had a receiver that had separation from George. The ball just kind of sat up there, just a lazy fly ball, if you would. George positioned himself better than the receiver. He became the receiver, came down with the ball. And I tell you something right now, if Christian is able to get on the board in any way, shape, or form, that may be that last nail in the coffin that you've been talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for the Sultans to come back from over 9 points, especially the way their offense has been running. So opportunity now for Christian. Carrillo flushed out of the pocket, avoids one man. He's going to run up the middle and is brought down at the line of scrimmage. Good job by the secondary of the Sultans to not give anyone, not give Carrillo anyone to throw to and bring up 2nd down and 10.
And at times, one of the strategies is right after a turnover, you go for the jugular. You're going to look to go downfield and hoping that you've thrown the other team off completely on both sides of the ball. There, the Sultans stood their ground, put together a good pass rush, and gave the quarterback, Carrillo, nothing on that play.
Keep an eye on the right side. That's George. He's got man-to-man coverage drawn. Carrillo under center. This time it's inside counter play to Sauls. Sauls fighting his way forward for maybe 3 yards as the inside linebackers for the Sultans there to make the stop.
And I think at this point, if you are a Christian, you don't necessarily want to fall back into something conservative because you haven't really had that offensive rhythm where you're able to kind of keep that balance of run and pass. Here, you're still kind of looking for that rhythm here as we wind down here in the 3rd quarter. But the one thing you want to do is to keep that clock running, if at all possible.
So 3rd down and 7 from their own 47-yard line. George solo to the left, 2 receivers right. Here comes the rush from the right side. They go right to this, to the man, Miller, wide open in the flat. It was the right pass, just not a good pass by Carrillo, as Miller had snuck out on the blitzing side and was wide open at midfield. Carrillo could not connect, and that'll bring up 4th down and the punting unit for Christian. Boy, Christian just shooting themselves in the foot again.
And I tell you, as you said right there, number 24, Miller, by himself. He had a lot of yards, open yards around him. Carrillo not able to get the ball into his hands. And once again, on that kind of play, he did have a little bit of a pressure there. The blitz coming in, thrown off of his back foot. He kind of was maybe a few yards off in front of the possible receiver on that play.
So Christian looking to punt it away again. And it's a fake punt right up the middle. Is going to go Owens, but nowhere to go. Absolutely tremendous special teams play and awareness by the Sultans. They saw the fake come, and Owens tried to slip through the middle, but no opportunity. And the Sultans will take over in outstanding field position at the Christian 45-yard line. 2 minutes left to go in the third.
I tell you what, on that, I'm all for the trickery. I'm all for it as spectators, you know, even as broadcasters. This is the kind of things we come to the football games to kind of see. But if you're trying to go to 2-0, it's not necessarily the best thing to do, especially since you're giving the ball back to an offense that could possibly score here on your own 44-yard line.
Opportunity now for the Sultans, trailing by 11. Cruz gun formation, 2 receivers either side. Flings it out to the left flat. Got his man down for a 2-yard gain. Saw the swing pass over to Browning. I believe that was Ryan Browning. I'm getting the 2 brothers mixed up here. Yeah, it was Ryan Browning on the swing pass. But a good job by the Christian defense to stop him for only a 2-yard gain. Pick up 2nd down and 8 from the 43-yard line.
And I tell you, there the 2 linebackers escorted him to the turf after a 2-yard gain.
They weren't nice about it either.
Not at all.
Cruz, quick pass in the slant. Got his man, a great play. Excellent timing pass to Cody Stam. There was a turn and throw and found his man right in the slant window. Nobody there. And that'll be a 1st down to the 32-yard line with 1:24 left to go in the third.
And I tell you, for the defense, on that side for the defense, I don't know necessarily if they were still looking to kind of make a shift, kind of set up and what they wanted to do. But the offense was able to get quick to the line of scrimmage, snap that ball, and pick up a 1st down through the air.
So they go 3 receivers to the near side. Cruz back to throw. Throws left, has a man. That's Ryan Browning. Oh, I'm going to get one of these kids' names right one of these times. Down to the 26-yard line, pickup of 7.
And I think they're going back to the philosophy of, you know what, we're going to take what you're going to give us. They're staying in front of the defense, but they're still picking up positive yardage there. And as we mentioned, there's still time in this game to be able to do that. There's still not a sense of urgency, but I think they've got to get some kind of points in some way, shape, or form here on this drive.
Right, under a minute left to go in the third quarter. Clock ticking down. 2nd down and 5. They're going to go right up the gut across the 25 to the 24-yard line with Raymond. Pickup of 2 on the play, maybe 3. Bring up a 3rd down and a long 2, as it looks like they're probably going to let the clock run down in the 3rd quarter. As the Sultans, with an opportunity to strike here, they are back on the line of scrimmage. Likely the last play of the 3rd quarter. 3 receivers near side, 3rd and 3 from the 25-yard line. A low snap underneath Cruz's arms. He's got to get down on it. Did he get it back?
It looks like Christian may have gotten that ball.
Holy cow, a terrible snap from the gun formation. Cruz at 6'4" couldn't reach down quick enough to get it. Squirted underneath him, and Christian comes up with a fumble recover again. Shooting yourself in the foot offensively, they make a threat, and then they find a way to kill it.
And right now they're playing a Christian, and they're playing themselves there, because positive yardage, they were moving the ball, and they're just the quarterback not nimble enough, we should say. He's a big kid, not able to get to the football and fall on it in time. And they give the Patriots the one thing they couldn't give them, and that was the ball here.
Sultans have been their own worst enemy on offense. Their defense has given them opportunity after opportunity. As on 1st and 10, Miller on the jet sweep to the left, finding room around the edge, and gets down to the 48-yard line, and that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. So we are done with 3. We're headed to quarter number 4. as Christian holding on to a 35-26 lead over Santana going into the fourth.
Juice Electric, providing quality electrical contracting for 27 years with over 40 years of total experience. Specializing in small to medium jobs for both residential and commercial projects. Remember, Juice Electric. We keep your juice flowing. And to get a hold of them, give Joe Juice a call at 619-464-6650.
For Eddie Alcaraz, I'm TC Wardell alongside Megan Coffey doing a great job on the video tonight. And our producer, Brian Hugaboom, behind the laptop, giving you all the graphics. This is the A team, the varsity team here for PlayOnSports.com. From Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California, we are headed to quarter number 4, where the Christian Patriots, looking to go 2-0, hold a 35-26 lead over a gritty, tough Santana team that just will not roll over and say die, at least defensively. Their offense, Eddie, though, has just had all times to struggle tonight.
You know, whether it was fumbles, whether it was an interception there earlier here in the second half, or the special teams, it just seems this whole three-headed monster hasn't come together. It hasn't been able to gel. They're still, as we say that, they're still in this ball game.
They absolutely are.
They still are.
Still are, trailing by 11 as we start the fourth quarter. Christian with the football, and they try to go right up the middle with Owens, and it's no go there. They may even be short of the first down, maybe lost a half yard on. We'll see where they mark the football on forward momentum. And that's an interesting mark where they put it. Oh, boy.
Definitely close over there.
Yeah, they're giving him a pretty aggressive mark. It's 3rd and inches from about midfield, and they're going to mark this one off. The officials are going to call a timeout, and they're going to say, let's measure this, because we're just underway here in the fourth quarter.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Then tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more info, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So Santana's defense has been very opportunistic tonight. They've been able to stop Christian on a number of drives. They have given up 35 points, but they've also given their offense opportunities to score 26 points. Unfortunately, the Sultans' offense hasn't returned the favor. They have really struggled inside the red zone, and they've made a number of mental errors that have cost them opportunities and drives for scoring. We get some rather boisterous Patriot fans underneath us here.
I tell you, they're getting their money's worth here in this ball game tonight.
This is a great game. In fact, the Sultans weren't expected to be this close in this ball game. They've lost a lot of key players to graduation from last year's title team. And it's a bit of a rebuilding year with first-year coach Tim Estes, but they are fighting in this one, trying to stay alive. They trail by 11 with 11:30 left to go in the fourth quarter. As it's 1st and 10 at midfield for Christian. Another swing past Arvan with the catch. Gets by one receiver to the 40-yard line. Now it's a race to the end zone, and Arvan's going to outrun the secondary. And another big play for Christian on a screen pass. And the Patriots starting to feel it with a 41-26 lead.
And Carrillo's touchdown pass was brought to you by Steve Carrillo and Mass Mutual. They want to protect who matters most to you. At Mass Mutual, our customers matter most to us. Mass Mutual Financial Group will help you get there. Insurance, retirement, and investments. Give Steve Carrillo a call at 408-892-5300.
Well, just like that, the Christian big play offense. It's a 50-yard screen pass and run to Kai Arvan to extend the lead 41-26. The extra point attempt by the Patriots is perfect. And now the Sultans climb up the ladder is even that much more difficult as they trail Christian 42-26 with 11:16 left to go in this ball game.
Accurate Underground and Grading and owner Mike Tobiasen have been serving the San Diego and surrounding communities for over 30 years. Their services include grading, custom house pads, water and sewer lines, underground utilities, roads, fire hydrants, house arenas, brush clearing, and much more. So give Mike a call at 760-789-8792 or visit their website at accurateundergroundandgrading.com. That's one word. And once again, Accurate Underground and Grading wants to say, go Patriots.
And we thank you for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school football, as Christian has extended their lead 42-26 over the Santana Sultans after a 50-yard screen pass and run by Kai Arvin. And now the Sultans facing a huge uphill challenge with 11:16 left to go in the fourth quarter. Well, in the offense, the way it's been running today, you just don't know what you're going to get with Santana drive per drive.
And here, this next drive for them is huge. They've got to score, and they've got to score quick. And no more from the kickers of making the majority of those points.
Exactly. As this kick's going to go into the end zone. And the Sultans will be forced to take over at their own 20-yard line on their next possession. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Let me go ahead and pay the bills here. Juice Electric, providing quality electrical contracting for 27 years with over 40 years of total experience, specializing in small to medium-sized jobs for both residential and commercial projects. Remember Juice Electric. We keep your juice flowing. So give Joe Juice a call at 619-464-6650.
So Santana trailing 42-26 with 11:16 left to go in the fourth quarter, trying to get something going on offense. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line with the big quarterback, 6'4" junior, Gabe Cruz, under center. A wide receiver screen. This time that ball may have bounced. And if it's complete, it might be a 1-yard loss as they attempt a screen pass to the left-hand side to Robert Schonk, and that ball fell short. But it was complete and the loss of about a yard on the play, and that's the wrong direction for the Santana offense.
And the once silent crowd that was nearest to us, the Christian crowd, has come alive as their team has come alive. And they're throwing points up on the board here in the second half with regularity.
For small school, they get a pretty good contingent of the fans. 2nd and 12. Cruz in the gun, standing his own 15-yard line, looking downfield, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, and a late flag comes down as wide receiver Cahill Stewart took kind of a late bump by a defender.
One of the things you'd mention, if you're going to take the hit regardless, you might as well have the football in your hands when you do. But there, he kind of forgot that part and still got a lick.
He did take one. It looks like this one is going to go against Santana. I'm going to assume a holding call. The officials have not been very kind to us tonight. They're not giving a whole lot of indication of what the penalties are. Although it hasn't been a penalty played game. It's been played actually pretty well by both squads.
Well, he kind of gave us an indication there as he was surrounded by Sultans. It was kind of hard to see. They're a secretive bunch,
they just
this
don't want
officiating crew.
They're making it tough on us. It's a legal formation against Santana, 5-yard penalty. Makes it 3rd and 13. Looking over the middle, has his man and rocked at the 28-yard line, but a good job to hold on to it was Tyler Browning. He knew he was going to take a hit in traffic, just hung onto the ball, prepared for a hit and took a lick, but he hung on to it, and that's going to be close to a first down.
And I tell you, when they review this game film, they're going to do what we just did. There was some whistles and oohs and ahs coming out of the crowd. That was a hit.
That was a Purple Heart on the part of Tyler.
Definitely.
Browning to hang on to it. 4th and half yard, and a timeout now called by Santana with 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Sultans trying to get something going here as they trail Christian 42-26.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to your great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. And you can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all of the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
And from Granite Hills High School in El Cajon, California, we thank you for joining us on PlayOnSports.com. Week 2 in the San Diego section, as Christian looking to go 2-0 on the season and to try to continue that stretch after last year's Division V championship, lead Santana 42-26 with 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. And Santana on offense with the ball at their own, just inside their own 30-yard line, needing a score on this drive. It's do or die time now as it's 4th and inches from from just inside the 30-yard line, looking to try to draw Christian offsides. The big 6'4" quarterback is under center. He could basically just jump over the top and get the first down. And that should be the play call. They're trying to draw the Patriots offsides, but they're not having any of that. And you're going to have to call another timeout if you don't hurry up here, Mr. Cruz. And that's a 5-yard penalty for delay a game. And that's just time mismanagement. That was not proper. They should have, if they weren't going to draw them offsides, they need to run the play they have called. And that just never happened. And now, an opportunity left asunder. They're going to have to punt this ball away to Christian. And
I tell you there, you're right. It was a mental lapse, not only on the quarterback, but as he was coming away from the sideline, we were able to see he was kind of still looking back, throwing his hands up, kind of like, what is it that we're going to call here? Right. Like you said, they should have called a play. Heavy rush on the punt, but he gets it away. And a good kick back down to the 45-yard line. One nice move, getting down to the edge. He's got the edge across midfield to the 45-yard line and finally stuck at the 40. Big return by Trevor Howell, who's had a busy night on defense and special teams, giving his Christian team outstanding field position at the 40-yard line of the Sultans. So I think at this point the philosophy's kind of changed. If you are a Christian, get conservative. You've got a big enough lead. You don't there's no necessity to put more points on the board. If it happens, it happens. If not, keep this clock running. I think if you're them, you've got a trio of running backs you can pitch the ball off to keep this clock ticking. Yeah, they've got a bevy and stable of running backs here for Christian High School. They can go to a number of players, and it looks like they may be doing just that, as Kaufman is now in the backfield for Christian. Has two receivers to the short side, one to the far side. Keep an eye on him. Single coverage at the top of the screen. Carrillo under center. Carrillo going to hand this one off to Hoffman. Hoffman's going to try the right guard and draws quite a bit of attention from the white shirts and picks up maybe 2 yards on the play. And like I said, this is more of a high percentage. Most people are going to tell you this is what you want to do. You want to eat up that clock if you're Christian. If you're the Sultans, at this point, desperation is setting in. You got to create a turnover. Yep. Here on defense, you got to get aggressive, and you got to get that ball back. So 2nd and 7, balls at the 37-yard line of the Sultans. Christian in control here, 42-26, 9:12 left to go in the ball game. There's two receivers set to the far side. That's George Solo this side, our side, and Carrillo doing a good job on the cadence and forces the Sultans to jump into the neutral zone. Offsides against Santana. It's an extra 5 yards they'll march off. And there, earlier as we were speaking, we had heard from the crowd that they were looking to pull the kid. You know, the popular opinion among the people who had paid tickets to get in here wanted him to take a seat, maybe take a breather, and go in a different direction with who was going to take the snaps behind the center. But he's definitely quieted those people as he's leading his team. He's putting them in a good position right here to walk out of here 2-0. Well, they got 8 in the box right now. Actually, that's 9. They're going to go inside counter. That ball is lost and fumbled and recovered by the Sultans. Boy, Kaufman didn't even get the handoff from Carrillo. And the Sultans with an opportunity here. And their defense has given them plenty of chances. But it's the Santana offense that's just kind of come up high and dry a number of times. So once again, another opportunity off a turnover for Gabe Cruz and the Sultans offense if they have the ball at their own 35-yard line with 8:26 left to go in the ball game. I tell you, I have been the biggest jinx tonight. Every time I've said something, the opposite has happened. And for Christian, that means putting the ball back into the Sultans' offense's hands. And Cruz is going to throw 3 receivers to the right side. He's under pressure. He snaps out into the pocket, and he makes a nice little move, kind of, at the 39-yard line before he's tripped up. Oh, it's 6'4", 175. He's a bit of a gangly guy. But he tried to make a move and still picked up 4 yards. And there, the linebacker, all 5'9" of him, Jacob Horace, was able to get a shoestring and bring down that redwood right there, just shy of the 40-yard line of the Sultans. Almost 5 yards on the quarterback keeper. Good job stepping up in the pocket and recognizing the run. Again, 2nd and 5, Cruz in the backfield looking to throw, goes to the left side, picked off near midfield. That was just a short arm throw. And intercepted by Trevor Howell. And boy, once again, I mean, we've been saying it all game long. The offense for Santana continues to make one mental mistake after the other. Plenty of opportunities to put points on the board and put drives together, and they just find ways to kill them. And Hal just continues to get picked on and continues to step it up. As there, he just kind of, waited in center field there. Ball came right to him. He dropped to one knee, and he gives his offense the ball back.
Well, Christian, this time going to go with Owens, and Owens stumbling, bumbling, and on his feet to 30, 25. It's a race to the end zone. Owens outrunning everybody. And Christian's locking this one up. Owens from 52 yards out sprints up the field, outruns the secondary, and gives Christian a 48-26 advantage with 7:32 left to go.
And I tell you, it appeared earlier in the game that he was starting to get it into gear. He was starting to kick it in from second to third. There, he went to fourth. It became a foot race, and it was evident that Rayvon Owens was going to win that race. He did, with a chance to put his team up by 23.
Well, Christian looks like they put this one in lockdown. They were about to head into a 23-point lead at the 7:32 mark of the fourth quarter. So the Christian band playing away, and the fans loving it as the Patriots take a 49-26 lead over Santana with 7:32 left to go in the ball game.
And one of the things I think at this point, if you're Santana, you got to start taking positives out of this ball game. You've got to try to do something positive on offense. You're not going to win this game at this point. It's evident. If you're on offense, you want to get a sustainable drive. You want to get something on the board. If anything, just to be able to say, well, you know what, we came out of here in sync. Even if it was a little bit late, we didn't pull the ball game out, but we're going to start to gel. We're 0-2 at this point, but our offense is starting to click. And I think if you're the coaches over there on that side, that's what you're preaching, and that's what you're hoping that these guys take in.
Well, it's an inexperienced green team with 28 players having graduated from last year's title team, and first-year head coach Tim Estes, he got some new schemes on both sides of the ball that these kids have got to learn. So there's a lot of rebuilding in the coaching staff as well as in the personnel expected this year. This was going to be kind of a tough year for them. They knew that, but I tell you, their defense is pretty scrappy. I'm very impressed. Even though they're down 49-26, they have been playing hard. As the kickoff goes to Browning at the 17-yard line. Browning trying to find some room down the right side, ducks back, and maybe wishing he hadn't as he's dropped at the 30, where Gabe Cruz and the Sultan offense will give it another try with 7:23 left to go and trailing 49-26.
And you made mention of just so many of the starters, the players that have left this team, the leadership that has gone away from this team. This is the opportunity for the new kids to step in, the juniors that are now seniors, the sophomores that are now juniors. Step up, get the job done. And once again, I'm preaching for the Sultan sidelines. I don't know what exactly they're saying over there, but that's one of the things you want to do is keep it positive. You don't want to lose this season just 2 games in.
So the Sultan offense, 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. Cruz fires away down to the 35, complete. And the ball may have come loose again at the 40-yard line as the receiver was stripped away. And oh boy, look at that. Here we go. That's another turnover for Santana. The ball stripped away by Christian and recovered by the Patriots at the 40-yard line. I couldn't tell who the receiver was. It was a nice pass by Cruz, but you saw 4 blue jerseys just reaching into the arms, and one finally just stripped it away.
And for what's happening to Santana right now is you've got guys trying to do too much. We saw it with Raymond earlier in the game, or earlier in the fourth quarter, being stripped deep in his own side, giving Christian an opportunity to score, which they did. And here I would expect to see just a heavy dose of running.
Absolutely.
Pretty much the rest of the way.
Single setback. Carrillo's going to flip toss it to the left. Got some good blocking in front of him, trying to get to the corner. And that's Chad Humphreys. He's only a sophomore, and if I am correct, Humphreys played in the JV game and just dominated earlier today. A game where Christian won 30-7 over the Sultan's junior varsity squad. So Humphreys doing double duty tonight in the junior varsity game and the varsity game.
And you gotta like that. There's nothing wrong with kicking the tires. Coach Oliver wanting to see what he's got down on the farm.
He looked really good early on today, and now just going right up the middle. And he's a tough man to bring down. He's not big, but he runs hard. And pickup of about 6 on the play, and we have a new quarterback in the game, David Jeremiah. freshmen, so they're bringing a lot of youth in the game right now with the 49-26 lead and the 6:19 left to go in the fourth.
Kind of seeing what they got there. And I tell you what, he played in the junior varsity game and the varsity game, and he's still got 100 times more energy than I do.
And
yeah,
you and I combined. So playing a little bit of musical chairs at the quarterback position as Trevor Howell will take his turn under center. Two receivers far side, 3rd down and 5 from the 35-yard line. They're going to hand this one up right up the gut to Humphreys. Look at Humphreys just go, the sophomore, refusing to go down. Close to a first down, maybe a half-yard short. So he looked really good in the JV game. He scored at least 3 times as much as I saw him, maybe more. But they're giving him an opportunity here to play tonight. Looking at the young kids to see if they may be using him here and there throughout the season. Again, it's a thin roster. It's a small school, so you do have a relatively thin roster. You may want to draw from your JV ranks here and there. So 4th and a yard from the 31-yard line. Christian, 5:18 and counting here in the 4th quarter. This time Jeremiah hands it off, or thought he handed it off to Humphreys, and the ball comes loose. And Santana gets it right back. Linebacker Brandon Patterson, who's been very active tonight, gets the recovery. And the Sultan offense will jog back on the field with 5:11 left to go, and Christian in control, 49-26.
And I think there, it's just maybe it was the fatigue of Humphreys.
Yeah, 2 games.
Running up and down the field for the JV, coming in here. You know, 3rd time might have been the charm, unfortunately for him. He coughs up the ball. But he's in a good position. I'm sure the coaches are telling him, don't worry about it. We got this game well in hand. We like what we saw, and you just go ahead and have a seat for a little bit until we're going to have to call your number to get back out there.
Well, once again, Cruz will bring the Sultan offense on the field. And this time the ball goes right under his arms, and picking it up the ball is in butt back position. And this is a good run by Jareth Raymond, and a headsy play by the fullback to pick up the bad snap. It went under the legs of the tall quarterback, and he picked up 3 yards. That made something out of nothing.
You got to like, as you said, just the sense of awareness of where he was. You never want to just sit there and look at that football sitting on the ground too long. Picked it up, turned a negative into a positive.
This offense for the Sultans is just really imploding this second half, having all kinds of trouble getting going. So 2nd and 7 from the 35-yard line. Again, another low snap, barely picked up, and I think that's going to be recovered by Christian. And when things go badly, they just continue to landslide as Christian picks up the fumble recovery. Dylan Johnson, senior linebacker, comes up with a ball, and well, what can you say about the Sultan offense? Just finding ways not to move the ball.
I tell you, you got a quarterback there, and sometimes in a situation like that, you might want to bring him under center. If you're not getting that the kind of snap that you're getting in the shotgun, bring him under center. Let him get a feel for the center. The quarterback get a feel for the center. That exchange there, which is crucial. I can't stress how crucial it is to make sure that there's a harmony there within that. And we saw it on back-to-back plays. It doesn't seem that there's anything there.
Jeremiah handing off to Kaufman on the jet sweep. Kaufman nowhere to go as he cut up behind the center. And a scrum at about the 28-yard line. And loss of about a half yard on the play. 4:11 and counting left in the 4th quarter, as Christian looking to go 2-0 early on this season with a 49-26 lead.
Well, and I tell you, they're going to most likely go 2-0 here. And next week, you have to go to Parker. To Parker there. For all of those that we may have shortened it here, that's Francis Parker.
Yeah.
He'll be going out too. Not a new school in the district. It's good old Francis Parker.
Flip toss this time and hit immediately by the defensive end for Santana. He hit the running back before the ball even got to him. And I believe that's going to be a fumble recovered by Santana. Wow. That's actually a highlight play, folks. That was something to watch. We're seeing a lot of new faces here on offense for the Patriots.
And for the 2nd drive in a row, Brandon Peterson able to pick up that fumble, the linebacker.
Man is active. And speaking of kind of piggybacking what you were talking about, speaking of schedules, Santana doesn't get really any easier. They got to travel out to Imperial to probably, in my mind, the best running back in the entire San Diego County. That's Royce Freeman. They're going to have to face him in that potent Imperial offense. The next week, they got to go right back out to the IVL and take on Central. So they got some traveling to do and some frequent flyer miles coming. As the screen pass to the middle, completed the 40-yard line by Cruz, and down to midfield goes receiver Cahill Stewart. As the clock continues to click, 3:21 left in this ball game.
And they're just showing some of the arm strength.
We have a brand new, almost a brand new secondary, probably, and a lot of new faces on defense for Christian. Everybody getting an opportunity to get some playing time. Eddie Alcaraz still has some high school eligibility left, so I believe we can get him suited up and playing on the field as well.
Well, they've already called up to the press box. They want me to come down and hold the clipboard as a second-string quarterback there.
Another screen pass, this time slipping out across midfield is Ryan Browning. Pick up a 4 on the play, call it second down. Give him 5. Second down and 5 from the 45-yard line. 2:53 left to go in this ball game.
And with the frequency that we've called Browning, it seems like there's more than just 2 on that team.
It might be, it might be more than twins or brothers. It's there's Tyler and there's Ryan. Tyler being the senior, Ryan being the junior, both playing the wideout positions. And right now, both go wide to the right for Cruz. Second and 6, and another screen pass. This time to Stewart, and Stewart is racked up at the 45-yard line. A fine tackle by Chris Jones, big 6'4", 195 senior.
Oh yeah, Jones there just wrapping up the receiver and giving him a good old howdy. Keeping him from picking up the first down. And I think at this point, there's no need, if you're the Sultans, to try to be conservative. Maybe try to mix something up there.
Have some fun with it.
Exactly.
2 minutes left to go in this ball game. Christian has this one locked up, 49-26. Third down and 4 from the Christian 44-yard line. That's Cruz under center, the big 6'4" quarterback. Quick motion across the formation is Stewart. Looking to throw in the pocket, heavy pressure, gets drilled. Ball is loose, they're gonna call that an incomplete pass. As Cruz is up slowly, his blind side just dropped him, and once again, that's Jones on the sack. They're going to call that an incomplete pass, but Jones with the pressure. And I don't think Mr. Cruz is too pleased with the way he feels right about now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not praising the other 10 guys out there with him. Great job, guys.
Thanks for the blindside help and the blitz pickup.
I think it's more of an ouch, followed by an ouch and another ouch.
Maybe an expletive here and there. So 4th and 4, I think Santana will go for it with $1:43 left to play in this ball game. Cruz under center, looking to throw in the pocket, goes over the top, picked off by Christian at the 27. Free safety looking to make a run of it down to the 33-yard line, and that's Cody Cajon. That's a sophomore making that interception. Nice job by Mr. Cajon as Christian will take over on the turnover with 1:33 left to go in the game.
The pass was definitely off center of where it needed to be. And Cajon stepped up and said, you know what, if it's not going to receiver, it's going to go to me. He broke a tackle or two back there, showing some field awareness. He was looking to maybe turn it into more than just an interception, maybe an interception and a touchdown there.
Kidding me, a sophomore with his first interception in a varsity game? Yeah, he's a little excited. I think he would have tried to go the distance if he had the opportunity. So it's Eddie Alcaraz time. You're up by 23 points. It's time we can put Eddie in the game because it's safe with only $1:33 left to play.
And I tell you, with my bad luck, not remembering this was football, I brought my ice skates. So they're not going to let me onto the field because it is turf and not grass.
David Jeremiah, quarterback, he's going to step back and take a knee and just let this clock run down. So we look at the Central League. Christian, they're going to go 2-0 on the season after this victory against Santana. They go on the road next week against El Cajon Valley. Then they go back on the road against Parker. Tough game there in week 5. Then they jump into league play, Mission Bay, Coronado, and then they finish with 3 road games. Madison, Claremont University City. Madison will be a battle, no question about it. That is going to be a tough ball game. But this is actually a relatively manageable schedule for this Christian team as they jump to the Central League. Can't say the same for Santana. They got 2 tough games out in the Imperial Valley they got to run to. Next week is going to be rough against Royce Freeman and the Imperial Tigers in Imperial. I've done games there. It is a tough place to play for anybody. Then they get the frequent flyer miles off and drive back out to El Centro, take on Central. And of course they've got the Grossmont Valley League to contend with, and that includes El Cap and of course powerhouse Mount Miguel on the road. So not going to be an easy road to hoe for this Sultan team who drops to 0-2 after today's loss. So the Christian Patriots question marks if they were going to have the horsepower this season after losing 14 starters. Start the season off 2-0 with a 49-26 victory over East County rival Santana High. Folks, we'll be back in just a few moments with our post-game show here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
And we are back here on PlayOnSports.com with our player of the game, Philip George. 2 touchdown grabs tonight with over 100 yards in receiving. Outstanding performance by you in your bid tonight in a 49-26 victory over their East County rival, Santana High. You guys, 2-0 on the season already. But there was their concern in the offseason with 14 starters gone from last year's championship team that this might be a bit of a rebuilding year. That's something that you guys might have been concerned about?
You know, coming into the season, we knew we had a lot of starters gone, you know, like Shane Dillon, Jason Gaines, the big players, you know. But our underclassmen last year, they played big for us down the stretch, and we knew that we came in confident that we would end up playing big and that people would have to step up and make plays. Like, we were prepared for that, so we knew we had to deal with it either way.
Well, so far you've done a tremendous job starting off 2-0 on this early season. One thing that Santana's defense did tonight, they played a lot of man-to-man defense against you, putting their corner on an island, which is a real risk and gamble. Were you prepared for that this week, and how did you game plan for that?
Yeah, we've been prepared since day one, since the day after our game last week. We got their film, and we knew that they played a lot of press man and like to be physical. So we like to take a lot of deep shots. You know, we thought our athletes were a little bit better than theirs, so we knew that we were going to take some shots downfield, and played out well.
And it did, for once again, a 49-26 victory by Christian over their East County rival Santana. One last question I got to ask you with regards to tonight's victory. Good and bad, you know, you guys are going to take away from them, and that's the question I have. What is it that you take away from this particular game, now that you're 2-0, to work on in the coming weeks?
I think we just erase this game and worry about next week, because, you know, we let them score, 26 points, and our defense wasn't pretty happy tonight. So our defense is going to have to step it up in practice this week, and our offense looked pretty nice, putting up 49 points again. So, you know, we just got to come in prepared this week of practice and go to percent.
Well, there you go with this Christian football team there, picking up where they left off last year as the Division V champions. A 49-26 victory against Santana High. Philip George, our PlayOn Sports Player of the Game, and we'll be back in just a few moments to wrap it all up here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And welcome back to the post-game show here from Granite Hills High School. T.C. Wardell alongside Ed Alcaraz. Sorry, you're going to see our mugs here right now as we've just concluded week number 2, and Christian going 2-0 on the season with a 49-26 victory over Santana. And I tell you, we're concerned, Christian concerned about the loss of 14 starters. They look as good this year as they did last year as Division V champions.
I tell you, I don't know where they find these two-way players. If they're making them as they're practicing, you know, but for some reason or another, they're just athletic. You're going to win at this level if you can maintain the level of mistakes, you can keep it down, and you stay athletic. They were able to do that. They go to 2-0.
Now the Sultans of Santana, they go to 0-2. They're on the other side of the coin. They had a rough time last week against West Hills in their Battle of Santee, losing 47-17. Tonight they lose 49-26. Their defense actually played a lot better than the score indicates tonight, but their offense, Eddie, really needs a lot of help.
And here's the thing: at any level, you got to keep a good competitive balance. If your defense is on the field for too much time, the results are going to be as they were. The 40 last week, the 40 plus tonight. Things have got to change. They've got a lot of adjustments they've got to go in there and make. It's still a lot of football left to play in the season, but at 0-2, you're running out of time.
No question. And then they've got back-to-back road games out in the Imperial Valley next week, including a tough game against Royce Freeman and the Imperial Tigers. That's going to be a rough road trip for the Santana team. So that'll about do it here from Granite Hills High School and PlayOnSports.com. I'd like to thank our videographer, Megan Coffey, for a tremendous job tonight, and Brian Hugaboom, outstanding job behind the computer as our producer tonight. And my partner, as always, Eddie Alcaraz. I'm TC Wardell, saying thank you for joining us on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Good night, everyone.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.